to Making Law Simple. My name is David Helm. I am a licensed practicing attorney out of the state of Michigan. And with me for this wonderful stream, Valhalla awaits. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Hope you got a good night's sleep and didn't stay up till 4 a.m. in time for getting ready for this stream.
We both know I didn't, so let's move on.
Good morning, Gene XO. Welcome. Are you you're in my chat? Cool. Eries. Welcome. Yeah, Valhalla is dual streaming this, by the way.
I am.
We got Miami Spice and Paige in the chat. Wendy H. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. As we get going, we'll wind up here a little bit, let some time pass for some more people to join us. Hopefully the notifications go out. And speaking of which, if you are a member of MLS, you get access to our Discord, where we have a bunch of notifications for things, as well as the information that we're going to be going over today is also in my Discord. So check it out if you are at all interested in getting some more information about this case and the other cases that we cover. But today is going to be interesting. We have actually a in-the-field reporter sitting in the courtroom taking copious notes.
We sure do.
Audra has been awesome. She is from Austin. She lives in Austin. And when we learned that this case was not going to be covered with cameras, she immediately volunteered to go sit in a courtroom and take copious notes.
Because
and
she's the GOAT.
She had, look at, this is day one. These are her notes from day one. Look how, and then we have day twos. She has taken copious notes. This is not going to be some dribble we hear from Twitter. This is not going to be,
some flamboyant interpretation of events.
This is going to be, this is what was said. And just going through her notes, it's amazing. She also makes other than the testimony, she makes comments about the people that are in the courtroom. She actually says there's a wide range of people in the gallery, and you can tell the ones that want to be on camera. There was an attorney that came upstairs from a different murder trial and went up to the reporters in front of the cameras and was talking about them trying to get on camera. And he's saying things like, in my book, if you go on the lam, you're effing guilty. There's no way the defense is going to survive. Stupid effers, she's guilty. So there's a bunch of people that are trying to get out in front of the cameras on this one. She also makes a note of later on, let's see here. I think it was after the opening statements. People return. Not as many people in the afternoon session. A lot of people are sitting with their laptops and they're taking notes. There's a bunch of people sitting behind the prosecutor's table, not many behind the defense table. And when the defendant arrives, what does she say? I don't want to misquote her. Hang on. What does she say? When the defendant arrives.
Hard copies. That's so much.
Oh, yeah.
So much easier than my phone.
I know, right? Kaitlin walked into the main area of the courthouse to a lot of people watching for her and wanting to hug her neck is how she says it. So that's interesting. That is. She's playing it up for the cameras and reporters. So the defendant is playing it up. Everyone is very guarded. She seems as if Kaitlin went across the street to eat with an entourage of people for lunch. And they were sitting outside. She's like, I didn't know she could do that.
She's in custody.
Yeah, but apparently she's outside sitting at a little bistro eating lunch.
She tried to escape like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Well, maybe that's why there's the entourage.
Well, maybe that could be.
But that's interesting, right?
It's weird. I can't imagine.
Only coverage, you can only get this type of coverage here at MLS. So I'm just pointing that out to everybody.
It's bizarre.
So remember,
as long as we don't look desperate. We want them to think we'll take their help, but we don't need it.
Hard to accept that it's really come to begging.
Sometimes it's the only way to stay in the game.
Please tell your friends about this show.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
So anyway, we're going to go over these copious notes. She goes through all the witnesses, what they say, cross-examination, both day one and day two. This could be a fairly lengthy stream. But I have attempted, I am not Vealhammer, but I have attempted to fix the opening statements because apparently the audio was really bad.
It was terrible.
Yeah. So we are going to cover the opening statements from both the state and the defense. It is 1 hour and like 5 minutes of opening statements. I am going to play it at 1.25 speed. If it's a little too fast for people, given the audio quality, let me know. But I think that's a good place to start. So we have the setting. There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of people that are trying to get their faces out in front of the camera. We have attorneys coming in from other trials, jumping down to weigh in on this. There's other people in the courtroom that are trying to get in front of the cameras. We have a lot of people on the prosecutor's side of the case, not a lot of people sitting behind the defendant, and the defendant seems to be panning to the cameras as well. So in that setting, we get the opening statements. Valhalla, you went through the notes. Is there anything I'm missing sort of as a ramp up to this?
I don't think so. I think we'll get into it.
The notes on the testimony is very interesting. You can see where the defense is going. You can see where the state is going in the testimony that's being presented. And I'm going to give Audra another shout out. The notes are impeccable. They're handwritten. So, with me, it takes a minute to read through them all. And I was texting Valhalla and my wife. I'm like, what is that word?
What's this say? I was
They
doing the
are
same
really,
thing. I was asking Mrs. Valhalla. I was like, what does that say right there? Okay.
They're really good. They're really good. But let's listen. This is the DA. So he gives opening statements first. And if you guys are new to this channel, we try to explain the legal proceedings as we go. We start off with, as the Constitution requires, that Kaitlin Armstrong is absolutely innocent at this moment. She is still innocent today. This is day 3, but we're going to review day 1 and 2. Unless the state bends over backwards to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, she is innocent. You can have a almost clearly guilty defendant and the state doesn't prove it. You can have an innocent defendant and it looks kind of damning. So what we try to do here is suss out exactly what's going on, what's being presented in court, because only the evidence that being presented in front of the jury is what's important in my view. Doesn't matter what anyone else says. Doesn't matter that she ran to Costa Rica. It doesn't matter that she used her sister's passport. She might be scared. Oh my God, they're going to finger me. I'm going to flee out of town. Now, while it could be a sign of guilt, guilty conscience, flee out of town.
Never mind. Keep going.
I don't know what I said. That's going to be clipped if I said something wonderful.
It was bad.
It doesn't necessarily prove that she did it, right? They still have to place her in the time, location, and all of that at the time.
Miami Spice is a new member of the Goat Herders. Outstanding. Thank you, Miami.
I was going to say, that's not on mine. That must be on yours.
It is.
And if you become a member of Valhalla Awaits, I don't know what kind of membership stuff. You got to get a goat cam out.
Yes, it's in the works. If y'all haven't realized this by now, I move at a much slower pace than the average human, and
I have sent you the cameras.
You've sent me, well, not the physical cameras, where to buy the cameras.
Yeah. I'm not supporting you all the way through. You use my StreamYard, you get free gifted memberships. I pay for my membership on your channel.
I feel slightly like a mooch right now.
There's got to be a line somewhere, right?
There should be. There probably should be.
Anyways,
about my memberships, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I've just done one tier. I've done a $2 membership. I'm gonna do probably at least a monthly member stream where it's just kind of chilling, hanging out, talking to chat. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of plans for it at the moment. It's more a way to support the farm, and I appreciate each and every one of you.
Cool. I'm just waiting for that goat cam, man. I'm waiting for you to ride the goat too, because that was a promise you made on Baker.
I did not you made that promise from chat. I had nothing to do with that promise.
What I was going to say about this audio, I've boosted it. I've tried to clear up the background a little bit. I tried to equalize the audio. Again, I'm not VOHammer, but if it's too quiet, if it's too loud, if it's too fast, let me know in the chat, guys.
This case is about Anna Moriah Wilson.
Hang on. Oh,
More responsible.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Everybody calls her Mo Wilson.
Is this too loud?
Mo was an accomplished college skier from Vermont.
I feel like this is too loud.
A few years ago, she got into a sport called gravel racing. And about 3 short years, she became one of the best in the world at it. On May 11th, 2022, at 9:15 p.m. here in Austin, Texas, the last thing Mo did on this earth was scream in terror. And you hear those screams. There's a surveillance camera with an audio portion to it. We'll play that for you. And you'll hear those screams. Those screams are followed by 2 gunshots. One to the front of the head, one to the side of the head that hits the index finger as it passes. You won't hear any more screams out there.
Good morning, Jamie.
Oh, Jamie.
We intend to prove to you, you put this in that chair. After 4 or 5 seconds silence, Kaitlin Armstrong stood over Mo Wilson and put a 3rd shot right in Mo Wilson's heart. 9:15 p.m. later. Good morning. My name is Victor. I represent the state of Texas. Along with my co-counsel, Mr. Gonzalez, Stewart, Ms. Jenny Sullivan, Mr. Rob Drummond, who will join us at some point. We intend to present to you approximately 40 witnesses from his witness.
You got 5 gifted memberships from Miami Spice. I want to call that out.
Spice gifted 5 memberships to Jamie, Christine Fortunato, Rossman Ranch, Frigg Snowden, C. Souter, and that's I was almost going to read Jamie's name again. Thank you so much, Miami. You're awesome. I love you.
You read names better than I do.
That's not hard, man.
Evidence over the next 4 to 5 days. We're going to start by giving you information about 3 key players. Number 1, we know this. 25-year-old college grad, up and coming pro gravel racer. Second key player, Colin Strickland, who's a professional gravel racer who lives right here in Austin, Texas.
That's they mispronounced his name. It's Colin. Now I don't have it. See, now I don't have the printed thing for that. But Colin is okay. So if you guys don't know the story, Mo is a professional mountain bike racer. Colin is also a professional mountain bike racer. They met during a race. Well, Colin happened to be dating the defendant, Kaitlin Armstrong. Prior to that, they were on a break, supposedly, but they lived together in Austin.
They were on a break.
Yeah, it was a break. But they were kind of on again, off again, but still living together in Austin, the defendant and Colin. And then whenever Colin got together on a race with Mo or some sort, they would occasionally meet up. You'll hear testimony later that it wasn't really a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, but it wasn't really friends with benefits either. It was kind of something in between.
Some sort of casual dating scenario.
Yeah, it was a very casual dating scenario. So the defendant, Kaitlin Armstrong, was not obviously, but was jealous of Mo and started to stalk her. Allegedly. And then all of a sudden, Mo becomes unalived. And so they suspect Kaitlin Armstrong is the one that did it. Love triangle.
The third player is Kaitlin Armstrong, the defendant, who lived with Colin.
We have the arguments from the defense. If you stick around a bit, we do have those. So we will go through the defense's arguments, but also the testimony, cross-examination.
There was business partner. They had a business of real estate business, refurbished trade. Through these witnesses, we're going to give you background on Colin and Kaitlin's relationship. They met in October 2019 and began a romantic relationship in October 2019. You heard from Colin that at some point, 2021, around the freeze, she moved in. You hear that as a result of their business, they shared an iPad and a laptop that was connected to Colin's phone. His iMessages on his phone was available on those documents, on those 2 apparatuses. And you would hear from Colin that the relationship was on again, off again, and you would hear that
Welcome.
The relationship was off. They both dated other people, but they continued to live there.
Welcome, Cheryl, to membership. Click on the membership tab. It'll take you to a link to my Discord. Make sure you tag Jamie or Jungmin or myself in there so we can let you in once we get your name confirmed. And then you'll get the courtroom notes and everything on this case and all the other cases we cover.
We'll give you some more background on Colin. We're going to go to the off-again periods. In October 2021, Colin began dating a romantic relationship with Mariah Wilson. Colin's going to tell you that he had to confront Kaitlin Armstrong, communicating, calling Mariah Wilson on her cell phone. And you'll even see cell phone data. Colin back and forth with Kaitlin about calling Mariah Wilson. And he sends her a text that says WTF with regards to her calling Mariah Wilson. And you'll hear Colin tell you that he changed Mo Wilson's name to Christine Walls in his cell phone in an attempt to seek his communication. Well, look, because he'll tell you that after they dated, they remained friends. And you'll hear background on Kaitlin Armstrong as well. One of the things you'll hear is she was not happy with his relationship. Colin still communicated with Mo Wilson after their romantic relationship.
So Colin's going to say that after him and Mo broke up, he got back with Kaitlin Armstrong, but he remained friends with Mo. Tell me, guys, how often that works. Ladies, does that work? Well, I think he's
tip
keeping
for young
his
men out there. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
Doesn't work out well. You tend to lose both
So
or your life.
Yeah.
And you'll hear that not only did she share that
20
iPad
years.
and laptop with Colin, but she had access to his text messages through iMessages on those documents. He'll tell you that he was a hands-on kind of guy in his business, and Kaitlin was the business manager type. So, in fact, you'll hear that she sent emails, messages out for the business from those two documents, from those two apparatus that had access to his email, pretending to be him for the business. That'll prove her access to those documents and access to his text messages through that iPad, that iPad, and that laptop. And you see text messages, you see cell phone evidence of a phone call that Kaitlin made Mo Wilson in October 2021. And prior to May 11th, one of the things you find out about Kaitlin Armstrong's opinion is that Colin
Miami.
had Matt Riot's guns on Lamar.
Miami's
Bought two
great.
guns. He bought himself a gun and he bought Kaitlin 9mm 6-hour P365. And you'll find that in January 2022, 4 months with his murder, Kaitlin Armstrong goes to the range, gun range in South Austin, 35 in Swamp.
Yeah, Colin just bought her and himself new guns
You'll see the receipt from the ammo.
before this.
You'll see pictures of her cell phone for practicing with that weapon. 6-hour
Hey, morning, Indigo.
P365 9mm. 4 months
Hey, Luna.
for Mo Wilson's kid. And then we'll give you some more background before the murder that around the May 2nd, 2022 area, time frame, Colin Strickland left Austin in late April, and he was gone for about 30 days. He was in California. There was a bike gravel race in San Diego area. Colin will testify that during that late April, early May 2nd deadline, that his communication with Mo began to ramp up. Otherwise, they started to communicate a little bit more than they had in the past. And during this time period, when Colin's out on the road in California, texting Mo more, you would learn from his witness chair that Kaitlin Armstrong is back home in Austin near that laptop and that iPad, had access to iMessages to his information. Now, some very important things happened on May 2nd. A couple of things. On May 2nd, and you'll learn some cell data information, cell phone records. Kaitlin Armstrong logged in to Colin Strickland's Gmail account and Instagram from her phone. She had access to this information. And another important thing happened on May 2nd. Kaitlin Armstrong, on her phone, you get direct, looked up Mo Wilson on her phone. And she looked up pictures of Mo Wilson on her phone. And they said, 9 days. And you'll learn that Colin leaves California and goes to Arizona, Tucson, I believe. And that Kaitlin decides to fly to Arizona after looking up. She gets to Arizona, and her and Colin drive back. They arrive back in Austin on May 9th. Colin and Kaitlin from Arizona, they drive back, make stops along with they arrive back on May 9th. And one of the things that Kaitlin Armstrong does on May 9th, 2 days before Mo Wilson's funeral, she looks her up on an app called Strava. Strava app.
It's pronounced Strava. Thank you. I have that app.
Now you learn from Strava.
It keeps track of like your runs or bike rides, or it's like a fitness app, right?
Safety feature on.
Yeah.
When you leave home, you post your ride through the mountains. But put the safety feature on. Starts a few blocks from your home. If you don't put the safety feature on,
I use it to see how long we hike too when we're on like backpacking trips and stuff.
In your ride, where you in your ride. And you'll learn from the testimony from witness here that when Mo Wilson was in Austin, she did not activate her safety feature. She supposed to drive. She was here at the beginning. Now, on May 9th, she's looking up her on Strava. She was moving her on the second. Now, Mo's not here yet because on May 10th, the very next day, she's looking up. Mo shows up in Austin for a gravel locals race in Hyco, Texas. It's a 157-mile race. She was made for that. She didn't stay in a hotel. She stayed with a friend, Kaitlin Cash.
157 miles. That's
Cash stayed in the
insane.
garage apartment.
I know. I was thinking about that.
1708.
I did last spring. My wife and I, or actually last summer for our anniversary, we rode our bikes from one city to the next, and then like did a B&B, and then we rode around and all the stuff, and then we rode back a couple days later. And that the entire time we rode was 100 miles, and I was like, oh my god, my ass was killing me. It was horrible. She rides 150 miles in a race. This is insane.
She's really good too. She's supposed to be something like top 3 in the country at this endurance stuff.
Yeah.
Well, she was.
Yeah, she was a big up and comer. She was interviewed. We played some of her interviews. Everybody knew her in that racing community because she was really good.
Maple Drive, 1708. She stayed in D.
Good morning, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
It's in East Austin, MLK. That's where she stayed. She arrived on the 10th. Now, we'll give you.
Ooh,
Whoa.
Now,
what is this?
on the 10th. Now, during that day,
That was weird.
It was.
Colin and Mo began to text each other. You'll see those text messages. We're trying to hook up with them.
Hook up for
Go back and forth.
dinner.
What time we're going to go, things like that. You see those text messages. And Colin will tell you that later on that day, 3 o'clock range, he leaves on the motorcycle to go to the dentist. And while he's out at the dentist visit, him and Mo finalized their plans to hook up for the evening and go to a eBay food. And he would testify that texting was on his iPhone. It's connected to iMessage to the iPad, laptop, back at home. You'll be sale data ready.
Classic mistake, guys. He's texting Mo, and his iPad is containing all the messages back and forth, which is sitting at home with Kaitlin watching.
Before she went swimming,
He made a
on the last time
mistake.
she did on this trip, what she loved to do. She went on a 3-mile bike ride from 123, and she arrived back at 423. We know that because she posted it on Strava, and we know that because she'll also be presenting evidence that her cell phone data with her location follows her and shows where she started. And she
Show me
goes
chicken.
up when she gets back to it. We'll get that evidence. So it's cheap. And at 4:49 p.m. Make that. Exactly. 1708. Is where I'm going to do it. And you'll get testimony from this witness chair. And at 4:49 p.m. Mo sends a text copy. Kaitlin Armstrong is back home. The iPad. Now, we're gonna talk about Kaitlin Armstrong.
Audra is messaging me right now. She's like, "Oh my god, I think I had." She's like, we had to step out for a second." She's like, "I think we should do a story about these journalists." She's like, "There's a whole gaggle of." She's like, "They're just like spreading misinformation. They're like talking about stuff." She's listening to them in the hallway, and they're talking about stuff. And she's like, "None of that was testified. What are you guys talking about?"
See, this is
so
why
this
it's
is-
so important to have people in the courtroom.
Yes. She's like, this person mentioned that Isabella is, embezzlement isn't a crime. Something, I don't know. It's she's sending me all kinds of stuff, but basically, like the court reporters, are essentially, or not the court reporters, but the journalists in the courtroom are like talking about stuff that was never talked about in the trial.
Around the time in Texas.
And that's what all the mainstream media is going to report.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And a text message was sent with the exact location of where Mo Wilson would be on May 11, 2022. The exact location, she texted her that. 7:38 drive. Kaitlin, back home in downtown. And at 4:54 p.m., 5 minutes. Your testimony at 5 minutes after that text went to college. Kaitlin Armstrong looks up Mo Wilson's shot. Looks at that ride of 123 to 122. You see that. This is Kaitlin Armstrong still. Now see that access. Then we're going to move to the evening of May 11th. At 5:43 p.m., Colin picks up Mo at Kaitlin Cass's apartment. They go to Deep Eddy Food, and that's a restaurant called MVrder across the street. Now,
if you're just catching up to us live, we're going to watch the opening statements from both sides, about 45 minutes or so. And then we actually have our notes from, we have a reporter in the courtroom taking copious notes. They are amazing notes. We're going to go over them as soon as we're done with the opening statements from both day 1 and day 2. What the actual testimony is, not some fluffery that you might get on other platforms.
you'll see a couple of things that put them there. You'll see Colin and Mo's cell phone traveling from Cash's house to Bluebird and Deep Eddy. And you'll see video of them sitting in the restaurant eating around the 8 o'clock area. And you'll even see a video of them leaving on a motorcycle till after 8 o'clock on May 11th from the Bluebird area. Now, Colin drops Mo off at 8:35 p.m. You'll hear Wicks talk about his cell phone. It's right there in the alley. It's an alley behind the main house. Down the street, man. 8:35, he drops her off. And Colin goes home. And he's home at 9:15 when those gunshots go off. And we know he's home because you'll be able to witness tracking him on his cell phone. He does stop at 8:38.
Cell phone never lies.
A few blocks
Or sometimes it does.
from dropping Mo off. And he texts Kaitlin
All depends on who
about the area
interprets it.
when it's finished. When he gets something to eat, she doesn't respond. You're late for her, she doesn't respond. He goes home. He receives a phone call about 9 o'clock. You hear from the person who called him. They was on the phone for 8 minutes. You see cell phone records proving it. And then at 9:21,
I am Ann. I'm streaming on my channel as well.
There's a link to Valhalla's channel pinned at the top of my chat. I do notice that there is not a link back to my channel from Valhalla's.
Do you notice that, sir? Did you check the pinned comment at the top of my chat?
I thought I did. Yeah.
No, you did not.
There's no pinned comment.
There is definitely a pinned comment that says, please pop over to MLS, Making Law Simple stream, and give him a like.
I don't think that's pinned.
You're very wrong.
Colin sends Kaitlin a text message. Yeah, something going on. And cell phone location puts Colin at his
I
home
did just start a poll.
miles away
You might
from
not be able to see it
1708
because
1708 Maple Drive. That's how we know he is. Now let's talk about Mo Wilson on May 11th. Mo comes home. Remember, Colin dropped her off at 8:35. With a small flight of stairs up Cass's garage apartment. At 8:36, Mo unlocks the door to Cass's apartment. And we know that because Cass has an app on her phone that sends her a message when the door is locked and unlocked. Not open and closed, just locked and unlocked. Cass was at dinner. She left her apartment before Mo went to dinner with friends as well. We hear that from Cass. So she unlocks the door at 8:36. She goes in her apartment. And you were here from sale data expert and cell phone records that from 8:37 p.m., almost a minute after the door opened, she's on her phone. They track her phone, look at her phone.
That's interesting.
Phone, at 8:36. 1 minute.
I think she knew she was alone.
Yeah, if she's tracking.
The window in which she showed up at this house is like 15 minutes from the time her roommate was there to when her roommate left.
No, by the time she got dropped off. Because her roommate had left at like 5, and then she had left at 5, and then the roommate left at 8. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The small window between the roommate, but also Colin. I think he's referencing Colin. Do you think she meant to kill both Mo and Colin?
Oh.
And yeah, and possibly. But I think, again, I think she probably knew that she was alone.
I think so.
Colin was riding around. They were riding around on his motorcycle. And she was driving Colin's car, right? If I'm not mistaken, the Jeep.
I don't recall.
And she stayed on her phone.
I haven't looked at some of those older videos in a long time.
I believe the Jeep is registered to Colin. And then they pulled in and they said, oh, there's the Jeep registered to Colin. The one that we saw on the security camera was in his driveway. Yeah.
To 9:13.
I believe.
Consequently, you will also learn.
I think she very much knew
that
who
within
was
4 or 5 feet of those stairs, there's a fence and a driveway. You will learn that at 8:37 p.m., 1 minute after you open that door, Kaitlin Armstrong Jeep seen going through that avenue. 1 minute. Trying to open that door 1 minute later, so the Jeep going through that avenue.
Dang, Miami Spice with another 5 gifted memberships.
Nice.
You are amazing.
Are you gonna read the
Memberships
names?
went to Gene XO, Greedy Bloke, Jay Liebgott, S Renee 27, and Just Dawn. Outstanding.
Andre is texting me again.
36, 8:37, 8:38, not a few blocks away. Text. You hear all that from witness. Now, Mo sends her last message out at 9:13 p.m. She sent a text message to a podcast. 2 minutes. before that 20. Last semester. Now, you heard from Kate Cash. She had gone to dinner. Good friend of mine, Mo was hanging. She arrives home and sees Mo on the floor. She sees her legs. She'll testify. She thought Mo had been on a strenuous ride and laying on the floor, stretching, relaxing. And she'll testify. She gets closer and sees blood and freaks out. And at 9:54 p.m., within seconds, being in an apartment, she calls 911. And she'll tell you, she put the phone on speaker, and the 911 operator had her doing chest compressions.
Good morning, atheist.
Good morning, atheist.
She'll tell you she had no idea she was dead, whether she was dead or not. You hear testimony. Press the closest friend's chest about 80 times for 8 to 10 minutes until the first responder showed up and took over.
My members do have
Police
a
officer
sneak
that
peek
night.
at my next Lego set, by the way.
She tells them
Ooh.
she left
Ooh.
before. She tells them who Mo is. They don't know who she is.
Mind you, too, I said, I posted it and I said that you and I are going to have a build off because we're doing the exact same set.
A true test of Lego prowess.
I don't know. She's supposed to have dinner with a friend named Colin Strickland. And she even shows him a text message where Mo texted her. Said, hey, what do you call it? Beginning of this. Now, the police continue to investigate. They canvassed the area for surveillance, videos, and they locate a black Jeep with a very distinct bicycle rack with 3 racks on it at 8:37 p.m. in an alley about 5 feet cash stairs. It's a little fence that separates it. 8:37. It's the Jeep I was just telling you about, past that alley. 1 minute I should open that door. We're gonna present evidence to you. That's Kaitlin Armstrong's Jeep.
Yes.
Please bring in
this
Colin Strickland. Next day on May 3rd. And the investigation is done. It's on the way. Please interview Colin. Confirms his story. He tells them all the things you're going to hear about. I picked her up. I was on a motorcycle. Deep Eddie, MVrder, they canvas and get video to prove that stuff eventually. Now, the police also sent somebody to Colin's house during the investigation to sit on the house and watch that house while they were interviewing Colin. Once the detective learned about the black Jeep in the alley, he asked Colin about the black Jeep. Colin would testify. He told him it's her Jeep. She owned it. She owned it. I'm not saying I've never driven it, but I wasn't driving it that day. I was on my horse. So now, Kaitlin Armstrong becomes the first witness as well. Because they're concerned about why that Jeep was at 17 or make at 8:37 p.m.
Yeah, when the owner of the Jeep is out and about on a motorcycle, it's kind of hard to explain why the Jeep is running around if you're not driving it.
Well, it definitely cuts down on the options.
It does.
The police go to get Kaitlin Armstrong. They look her up. They find that she got some Class B warrant.
Wow.
They pick her up and they bring her in. And you'll see, what you heard from Detective Connor, who has her in the room talking to her. And apparently, Detective Connor would tell her, yeah, that's some kind of mistake. The birthday is mixed up or something. Not sure it's you. We're going to release you. You can go. You're free to go. At the same time, the police got a search warrant for a search house. Now, you'll see when Kaitlin is in that room with Detective Connor, he said, I want to leave. She doesn't get to leave. continue to stay there. Take the comment, continue to tell her more about it and answer her questions. I just want to hear your side of the story, and you tell me why your Jeep that scene is murder. Doesn't say anything. Let's say something like, I didn't know how to do that. Same girl she's been searching. And they said, maybe and eventually, they do release her from the police station that day. Here's my explanation why the Jeep is here. Now, from that search warrant at Colin and Kaitlin's home, they find two things that are very important to this case. Two guns. One, Smith, Colin's gun. They find a 9mm 6-hour P365 that belongs to Kaitlin Armstrong.
That's a nice firearm.
The gun is later identified through the ballistics as a firearm that was used to kill Mariah Wilson. Now, the day after this interview, May 13th, some important things happened.
This is Steve
You'll
Harvey's
see
older brother, Sam.
Kaitlin Armstrong on a video camera.
Whoa, what was that? Steve Harvey's older brother?
Sam Harvey. That's
Sam
what
Harvey.
At CarMax in South Austin, near their home.
Almost.
She goes to CarMax and she sells her Jeep for $12,000. You'll see a video of her in CarMax.
What
On
was
that
her
same
Jeep?
day, you'll see an Uber receipt. She rides an Uber to Austin Bergstrom Airport. After she sold
Let
her
me
car.
see insanity.
I would still go with the I wasn't me, and I was scared. That's why I ran. Because, I mean, from the information that I know, be like, they brought me in for questioning. They suspect me. I'm getting the hell out of here. It wasn't me.
Also,
That's what I would do.
Fleeing, attempting to escape isn't necessarily guilty, but it doesn't look very good.
It doesn't look good.
No.
But, again, we don't know the evidence. We haven't seen all the evidence. We haven't talked to the people. We haven't talked to the defendant. I'm not, sitting in a room with the defendant. So, yeah, I would go, it wasn't me. In the corner, it wasn't me. That's what I would go with.
The Shaggy defense.
No, I have no idea. I haven't watched this at all. I've gone through the notes, but I haven't watched the opening, so I'll be curious.
the next day, go to Uber's airport on the 13th, but the next day on May 14th, she flies Austin to Houston and from Houston to New York City. You see the flight receipts.
I wonder if the sister's going to be charged.
And you'll learn that on May 18th.
She might have to
You
be.
also learn that she has a sister, Christine Armstrong. that lived in
She
New
ends
York
up
City.
taking her sister's passport and leaving
May
the country,
18th,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be presented testimony,
which would not work with my
her
brother.
going online. using her
Maybe
passport,
one, but not the other one for
email.
sure. Blonde hair, blue
buying a
eyes.
plane ticket
Oh, that's not
to
you.
Costa Rica.
Says he's 6 foot tall. That ain't never gonna work.
And on that same day, she flies to Costa Rica using her sister Christine Armstrong.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think this woman's
She goes to
probably
Costa Rica.
really, really
She's
guilty,
different
but
identity.
we shall see. We shall see.
And on June 22nd, while in Costa Rica,
Mind you, we're basing this off of everything that's been put out in the media. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what's presented here in court. So that's what I'm going to focus on.
plastic surgery. You see the medical record.
And none of this is evidence.
She
This
spent
is just a
$6,425
set up a
statement.
blueprint. Yeah.
to change her appearance. You also see before and after photos in those medical records. That's on June 22nd. 2 days later, on June 29th, the U.S. Marshals locate Kaitlin Armstrong in Costa Rica. Have no jurisdiction, notify the local authorities. Get together, work it out. A few days after June 29th, Kaitlin Armstrong.
Well, there's no cameras in the court for this one, so we're not going to get to watch this.
Yeah, I know. But we do have a reporter in the courtroom. And I will tell you, the notes, they're in my Discord. If you're a member, you have access to it. But the notes are literally just what the people are testifying to. There's no fluff, and that's how we're going to present it.
The way it probably should be presented, in my humble opinion.
Right.
Cell phone data can include calls, text messages, and also location information. You tell who you call, who you text, and where you are. Let's talk about Colin's cell phone data. You see those text messages I told you about between them two. You see him traveling on his cell phone location to pick her up. You'll see him traveling to Bluebird. Yep. You'll see him traveling from Bluebird. You'll see him leaving the scene at 8:35, dropping her off, and you'll see him stop and make that text message at 8:38 through the cell phone records. You'll see that 9 o'clock phone call, that's 8 minutes, and you'll see that 9:21 text, and you'll be able to see from the cell phone expert that he's way at home at 9:15 when those shots ring out. You'll be able to tell it from the cell data. Come look at Mo Wilson's cell data.
The defense is probably going to point the finger at Colin. Colin did it.
4:23 p.m. on 9/11.
That's why he's talking about this.
Trying to cut that argument off before it even begins.
Yeah.
You read that text message. 4:49 p.m. 17:08. And you'll see her location to help you verify what time she got home.
Because they were looking at him very early on in the investigation.
That's my understanding.
You'll be able to look at the cell data to see if it also says she got home at 8:36. You'll be able to see that to verify. You also see that from 8:37 to 9:13, she was on her phone in that apartment. And you don't even see
that apartment
evidence afterwards that that's the front door, there's a couch. After she's murdered, you'll see that cell phone on that couch plugged into a white charger right there, right by the door. You hear this very small apartment. She was a few feet away to the bathroom. But at 9:13, that cell phone is right there when she sent that last message, right by that front door.
So they're saying that when Colin was texting her saying, "Hey, I'm on my way home. What do you want for dinner and all that stuff?" She's in the house killing Mo when she's texting him back.
But they can't pin it down to that exact of a location.
No, that's just what they're arguing. Or they shouldn't be arguing. That's what they're saying. The evidence is going to show.
These cell phone people tell you they can get your stuff from your cell phone, unlock your cell phone, through the cloud, all kind of ways.
Hey, Salvador.
Hey, Sal.
You'll see her cell phone and a GPS that I'm going to tell you about this in her Jeep. You'll see them traveling that day, side by side, so you can verify the accuracy of it. And you'll also see from cell phone people that at 7:30 p.m., 7:30 p.m. on May 11th, turn the cell phone on. Turn it on. By the way, June 29th, U.S. Marshals gather, Costa Rica. Here's the right cell phone. What cell phone is it? And also, you'll see that at 9:55, approximately 35 minutes ago,
Hey,
after you
Danny.
hear that scream on that audio and the ring camera, her cell phone turned back on. And then her house is out on. You'll see location after that cell phone. And you'll learn that on May 27th, while in Costa Rica, she searched her name from her cell phone. News articles, things about her arrest, things about her being a fugitive. You'll see that through the cell phone data, people. She's looking at all this and reading this stuff, putting it up on her phone while she's in Costa Rica on May 22nd. After the murder, but before the plastic surgery, you see her Googling this once before her arrest. Now, I told you the police was canvassing for video surveillance. You'll see one video surveillance camera of Colin leaving that motorcycle at 8:36 once he dropped more off the test park. That one time on video camera. Now, there's 4 video surveillance cameras that captured Kaitlin Armstrong circling Cash's house at 1708 May for about an hour before the murder. It's circling. One camera catches it 3 or 4 times. It's passing up down the field. On that black Jeep that she sold at CarMax. Now, one of them videos that catches her in the front of the house, in the back of the house, they have cameras on both sides, front and back of the house. That's the camera that catches her around the fence at 36. 1 minute after. Oh. Now, you will find that many cars, and this Jeep here had an infotainment center. And within that infotainment center, you hear that Kaitlin Armstrong Jeep had an infotainment center with a GPS system in it.
For the low price of $19.99, you too
So it's
can
time-
have your very own infotainment
And
center.
location data.
I've never heard it called that before, but
I
You'll
should
see
be-
an animation of her driving down Lamar with the dots,
hey, straight.
Hi, Stray.
starting about 6
Good
p.m.
morning.
Tracking her all over the city, North Austin, riding around. You'll see her circling the block around the house. And you'll see the experts look at the video income time, GPS on Jeep time,
The expert.
verify the apps. For example, GPS says,
I didn't know he was involved with this case.
I didn't either. I wonder if he's going to make an appearance in court.
Now, GPS has what they call trip logs. Everybody has trip logs. Trip log cuts off, keep it on. Card log. You get about trip log 99, trip log 100. Trip log 99 stops at 8:40 p.m. GPS
Okay, wait.
location.
I was just trying to think of what he was
Take
saying.
off.
And I think what he's saying is, okay, there's a trip log, part of that infotainment center, and it shuts off when the car goes off. And it shut off at 8:40, whatever he just said. So, okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to follow because it's kind of hard to hear.
Long Jeep in an alley, about 15, 20 yards from those stairs. That Mo Wilson went up. 8:36. GPS guy will testify that at 9:17 p.m., 2 minutes after those fatal shots, trip log 100 starts. That Jeep starts to move again. 2 minutes later, the Jeep comes off and stairs to the Jeep. It's parked up 8:40, no activity, turned off. 2 minutes after murder, that Jeep back home, gone. And one of the things about this Jeep is we follow this Jeep from GPS all the way to the home in South Austin. You see that it stops by an apartment complex into a dumpster on the way home. Stops by the dumpster for a minute. GPS shows the car moving. Stops out the house. How fast it's going. It's not moving at all. When you see her go up that dumpster, by the apartment complex, stop for a few minutes, and you're gonna see her drive off home, cut that Jeep off, and trip log 100 is gonna end. Right around 9:55 p.m. Same time, that phone popped back on at her home. Now, you're gonna hear from a ballistics and tool mark expert. There were 3 shell casings and 3 projectiles recovered at the scene. One of the projectiles was too mangled to compare. So he had 3 shell casings, 2 projectiles he used to compare. So they got those 2 guns that they got from the search warrant. Colin's gun and Kaitlin's 6-hour P365 9mm. They test fired those guns and compared those test fires casings to those 5 found at the scene.
Tool marks. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. You can use it to exclude, but you can't use it to definitively state that this bullet was fired from this gun. So we'll see how they use it.
From that chair, the ballistics guy is going to tell you how it's going to exclude.
We need Vealhammer to equalize this because I apparently can't do it.
I don't know why you tried. We have Vealhammer.
Were identified.
Should have sent it to him.
The result was that those casings, test casings, were identified being the same fired from that gun. That's what he's going to testify.
Yeah, one more time for anyone new coming in.
6-hour P365.
The opening and closing, opening statement and closing arguments are the only thing that's being televised. But we have a reporter in the courtroom, and so we have very copious notes for the last couple of days of testimony that we're going to go over here as soon as we're done with the opening statements.
And believe it or not, y'all, I watched or listened to the original court audio. This is 100 times better than the original audio that came out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was better. It's just still shit. It's still bad.
It's not good, but it's way better than it was. I couldn't hear anything the first time I listened to it.
Last minute, the court said that they weren't going to allow recording at all. And then they said that they were going to allow opening and closing. So I don't think the media was really prepared, is what I think. It wasn't mic'd properly.
I think you're exactly right. They're not streaming the trial. They didn't have anything ready or expensive in there. They just threw something together, and this is what we ended up with.
Yeah, stop pacing. Stay at the mic, man.
From DNA. Now, you hear that they swabbed DNA from Mo Wilson's bike, which they found in some weeds, maybe 10 yards from the bottom of those stairs, cut 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, her bike was found outside in the bushes.
Like 100 feet away, 150 feet away, something like that.
Yeah.
You will find that the bike weighs about 5 or 6 pounds. You can pick it up with one hand. You'll find it's very expensive, about $1,000.
Did you realize bikes could get that expensive, by the way?
Yes. When my wife decided that she had hurt her foot running. And for those who don't know, sometimes I run. And if you remember, you can see my poor attempt at running. But she decided that she wanted to start bicycling. And I told you we did the trip and stuff. So before we bought her current bike, we went bike shopping to local places. And they were all like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 just to buy a bike, like from the local shop. It wasn't even, a high-end bike that you'd race with. So I knew they would be at least $3,000, $4,000, but this one was something like between $10,000 and $15,000. That's
$15,000 bike.
Stupid.
Bicycle, y'all.
Bicycle. I can buy a Triumph motorcycle for that.
I was gonna say I've owned motorcycles brand new that were less expensive than this bicycle.
Yes.
The expert will tell you that she took DNA, Mo Wilson, Kaitlin Armstrong, and Colin Strickland to compare to the DNA.
Yeah, experts messaging me on Discord.
They found DNA on the handlebars. Now, the DNA expert will tell you that.
What did I do better than you expected?
They don't say that's perfect. They got likelihood ratios. Uninformative, 5 categories. Uninformative with the lowest, strong, and very strong likelihood. That's how they keep it down.
I think it's more the sponsorships than the prizes. It's more the Nike stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Nike doesn't do cycling, but we get what you mean. But I believe there are cash prizes for winners. I mean, even like a stupid race, like the Detroit Free Press Marathon has cash prizes.
Well, I'm sure there's cash prizes, but I don't think it's paying for a $15,000 bicycle. You know what I mean? And I could be wrong. I don't really know.
I do, Nikki. Please bring me some coffee. Have Jung run it up to the treehouse.
It was a very strong likelihood
already
that the
today.
DNA on the handlebars
On the caffeine.
included DNA from Kaitlin. Strong. And the DNA expert will testify that with regards to the DNA on the seat of the bike, that there's a very strong likelihood that the DNA on the seat of the bike included DNA from Kaitlin Armstrong. Very strong, highest category they have.
No.
Cool.
On October 11th, 2023, 19 days before this trial began, you're going to hear testimony that Kaitlin Armstrong escaped from the Travis County Jail
Yeah, we saw that video.
and was apprehended about a mile down the road.
You would think for an athlete, she would have had a better jump on that fence. I still can't get over it.
Well, she's not the athlete; she's the yoga instructor. But yeah, still, you would think. But then that cop that fell twice trying to run up a hill, I'm surprised they caught her.
That was supposedly after like 10 minutes of chasing her, too. 10 minutes of chasing her.
Through these 40 witnesses here, we're going to ask you to find Kaitlin Armstrong guilty.
Hey, Ace.
Murdering.
Welcome.
Mo Wilson. Thank you so much for your time.
All right,
So why are
let's
we
see what
here?
the defense has to say.
Why are we here? You heard the state get up and tell you this is an open and shut case.
Is that Matt Gates?
DNA, ballistics, GPS evidence.
Matt, who's Matt Gates?
He's a politician.
I don't know.
Eh,
That was a local
The
inside
state's certainly
joke.
convinced. That's all very important. So why are we here? You may already have your mind made up. I know Detective Richard Spittler with the Austin Police Department certainly did, just hours into his investigation. So why are we here? We are here because the state's opinion, what the evidence is, and the Austin Police Department's opinion of what the evidence isn't important. You are the most important people in this room. It is your opinion of the evidence that we are here for. That's why we're here. Reasonable doubt. I want to talk to you about reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt is doubt that is supported.
Jeff, you made an argument about the way the evidence. He's not getting a roll back.
Wait a minute. He's allowed to talk about reasonable doubt. He's allowed to explain what reasonable doubt is. That's not argumentative. In most cases, I mean, I don't know this court, I don't know this judge, but explaining what reasonable doubt is proper during an opening statement. You're setting a roadmap.
Why would you not be able to discuss that in an opening statement?
Reasonable doubt is doubt that is supported.
State loses their ass on that one, as they should.
And I expect at the end of this trial that we will be talking about doubt, what that is. But for purposes of my remarks to you this morning, I want to talk to you about reason, common sense. Now, reason.
But once again, that's not a roadmap for evidence. That's argument.
What?
Judgment approach.
Yeah. That's bullshit. That's some crap right there, because he should be able to set out what reasonable doubt, what are the standards, jury, that you are supposed to be assessing this case by. He should be able to talk about.
The prosecutor is he said that's not a roadmap to evidence for evidence. That's what his objection was.
Yeah. So an opening statement is supposed to set out like a bullet point. Yeah.
He's trying to do is he's trying to make him prove his client's innocent instead of reasonable doubt. Instead of saying, hey, the state can't prove this, he's trying to make the defense say, hey, this is the proof we have that she's innocent. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, no, this is nonsense. What's happening? Nonsense. Yes. So what the defense was trying to say, all right, the typical opening statement that I would give would be, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, like we just started, you are the final arbiters of this situation. You are the finders of fact. It's up to you to make the decision if what the state is alleging is actually true. You're going to hear evidence about this stuff, but keep in mind that my client is innocent until the state proves her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, what is reasonable doubt? Let's talk about that, because this is what you're going to have to be judging this thing off of. And then we're going to talk about all the holes that the state has in their case and the lack of evidence that's going to be presented. That was completely appropriate, in my opinion. But I'm just a Michigan lawyer, and I am not in Texas. So
Now, the state just discussed with you what you will see, what you will hear about, what you will hear throughout the course of this trial. But I want to talk to you about what you didn't hear about. What you didn't hear about. You didn't hear
On the
that not one witness
Adelson.
saw
Yeah.
Kaitlin Armstrong allegedly commit this murder. Not one. Because there isn't one. You didn't hear.
I'm not objecting, man. He's supposed to be presenting evidence hoping that he's going to show, not evidence that he's not going to show. Once again, this is argument.
The information from the argument is that the evidence that you
The state is scared.
Yeah, he is.
That would be limited to that and not arguing.
He's not arguing.
An opening statement isn't evidence anyway. Like it's not.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, but what he's objecting to is you're not supposed to make an argument in your opening statements, right? So you can't say, this woman is absolutely innocent, and there's no way you're going to be able to find her guilty. That's kind of an argument, right? But what you can say is all that evidence that they talked about is circumstantial. You're not going to have any eyewitness that's going to place her at the scene, that's going to identify her at the scene. You're not going to have any video of her actually at the scene, despite what the state wants you to, take away from his opening statement. That is appropriate. I don't know what's going on here. This is weird.
You won't hear, and you didn't hear, about any camera footage showing Kaitlin Armstrong at the scene of this shooting. Despite there being tons of cameras in the area, and you heard opening statements about all the cameras that were in the immediate vicinity of the scene of that shooting, not one captures Kaitlin Armstrong at that scene, because there isn't any. You did not hear about any direct evidence showing Kaitlin Armstrong is responsible for this crime, because there isn't any. Now you will hear at the time Kaitlin left Austin to go to New York and then to Costa Rica, she would have no reason to know about any warrant that was present in this case. That the Austin Police Department told her she was free to go. She was free to go. That's what you will hear. You will hear that Kate
Not a bad
is
argument.
passionate about traveling. She's passionate about yoga. And you're
So
going
she
to
was
hear
free
that
to
she
go.
was totally comfortable traveling to far off locations that intrigued her at the drop of a hat on a moment's notice. That's what you'll hear. And you'll hear in the days following the shooting, weird things were happening to Kate at her home, documented things. Things that would cause a reasonable person to fear for their safety. And that ultimately led to her decision to leave Austin. You're going to hear people among us who are weak to begin with, who are troubled to begin with, who are damaged to begin with, are more likely to fall into that kind of state of reaction and attempt to retreat. So let's talk about some of the
That's what I
witnesses
would
that you
argue.
may hear about.
It's a good
over the course
argument.
of This trial.
Mhm.
Detective Richard Spitler. Now,
Well, he's
the
not
detective
arguing, but
who, prior to the investigation of this case, had never served as a lead detective in a murder investigation. Not one. But I'm sure he did very well on his exams. You're also going to hear from Detective Katie Conlon. Now, she's a detective that will tell you she's never met a defendant she couldn't crack in an interrogation, even if they invoked their rights multiple times throughout the conversation. Asked for their lawyer multiple times throughout the conversation. Asked to leave multiple times throughout the conversation. Now, the state is going to attempt to tie Miss Armstrong to this shooting through purported forensic science. And you'll hear from the DNA analyst that examined some items that were collected in this case. And you will hear from a ballistic technician who will tell you he eyeballed some shell casings that were submitted in this case and determined that they were not inconsistent with a firearm that was taken from the home of Kate and Colin. But you will also hear from experts. And I want you to listen when those experts tell you DNA reporting can mean very little. And ballistic science isn't a science at all. And it's not highly regarded by members of the general scientific.
I'm going to check that.
it's not.
No evidence that is not highly regarded by the general science community just because you can find one or two people to say that.
Judge, these are opening remarks. This is what we expect the evidence to show. This is proper argument. Thank you.
What's with the speaking objections too from the prosecutor?
Well,
The prosecutor is literally arguing in front of the jury to the judge that the defense is arguing to the jury.
he's going the fire and brimstone route
This is insane. This prosecutor is scared of something.
because his case probably sucks.
It might not be as straightforward as the media has portrayed.
Might not be.
Before that objection was overruled, we were talking.
Wouldn't be the first time we've seen that in the last couple of years.
How that is
Right.
far from the gold standard that you see it depicted as on TV. Now, the states and the officers with the Austin Police Department and the scientists that they employed, they were so desperate to keep Kaitlin Armstrong in their crosshairs that they had tunnel vision and they jumped to conclusions. And at the end of this evidence, you will be left with the conclusion
Like his real name or a
reported
nickname?
forensic science is inaccurate, is unreliable, and unscientific. Now, words and phrases have the meaning that we give them. Words and phrases are meaningless unless jurors like you draw a hard line in the sand. Phrases like presumption of innocence.
What?
Proof beyond any reasonable doubt.
Once again,
Judge, this is the burden of proof. If the state is apprehensive about the jury hearing about,
I'm apprehensive about him not getting a roadmap. Getting an argument. That's what I'm
That's awesome. If the state is apprehensive about the burden that they have to prove here, I would be calling them out. I'd be doing this exact same thing. This is bullshit what the state's arguing.
Why would they, after watching this, why wouldn't Court TV or Law and Cuck, if after watching this opening statement, why wouldn't they be like, oh, wait a minute, we should absolutely be airing this trial. Judge, can you please reconsider this situation? These guys are going after each other in the first half hour. This is awesome.
I'm going to rewind it here, touch.
a hard line in the sand. Phrases like presumption of innocence.
He's getting mad.
Proof beyond any reasonable doubt.
Once again,
Judge, this is the burden of proof. If the state is apprehensive about the jury hearing about,
I'm apprehensive about him not getting a roadmap. Getting an argument over the state. That's what I'm apprehensive about.
I don't know where you're going there, so I'll allow you to finish your sentence, see if it is part of the mistake.
thank you, Your Honor, I appreciate it. You must approach the task of your evaluation of the evidence with the willingness to think that which I know as a father, as a person, as a human, know to be the most difficult words to say. I don't know. I don't know. And I want you to approach that task.
So once again, you're talking about how the jury weighs evidence. You're not talking about the foundation of anything with expected proof.
Judge, this is appropriate argument. Your Honor, I didn't hear the first
Like
word.
I said, this is opening statement. I haven't made a ruling, but I would ask again that you could find your remarks to the appropriate statements for this juncture.
He
Thank you, Your
is. What?
I don't know. At the end of the evidence, that is your conclusion. We don't know. The appropriate verdict is not guilty. And as you approach that jury room, if that is your conclusion,
It's
we
like
don't know,
5.
not for
At
sure,
least.
then the appropriate verdict is not guilty. The state has a job to do. We have a job to do. And you stand between us. And we stand
Judge, that's not opening statement.
Objection sustained.
with Kaitlin Armstrong, a woman who is trapped in a
He just keeps
nightmare of
talking. I love it.
circumstantial evidence.
That's not opening statement.
Judge, I'm discussing the evidence. and that it
You're
is
discussing her
circumstantial.
state of mind. That's not
Oh
evidence.
my God.
Okay.
They might actually O-line red.
You have an awesome responsibility. Yours is more awesome.
Something.
And at the end of the evidence, you will be left with the conclusion that the state has fallen short of the incredibly high burden that they have willingly accepted in choosing to accuse this woman of a very serious crime. You had your chance. You could have been excused on Monday,
Judge, that's not opening statement.
Objection sustained.
but you told us.
That's the same line of questions, not opening statement.
Are we-
Same line of
I'm trying
question.
to wrap it up, Your Honor.
And you're not doing opening statement.
Let's wrap it up appropriately as far as what the evidence from.
We're all being yelled at, Haley.
trial, or what you intend to show or
I have never seen something like this.
It's kind of ridiculous.
It is. And for the judge to say, okay, we're not going to do speaking objections. You're going to approach the bench if you have an issue. And then, so essentially the judge is allowing the prosecutor to make arguments in front of the jury right now and interrupt the flow of the defense's opening statement. This is bad from a due process standpoint. This is bad. And then for the judge to essentially just allow it to happen is even worse. And then on top of it, she just said, all right, wrap it up. What, you're going to cut off my opening statement?
You're penalizing the defense attorney because the prosecutor likes to yell?
Yeah. This is ridiculous. This is a due process issue. This is seriously a due process, fundamental due process issue.
This may be why she didn't want cameras in the courtroom.
Well, if she's going to act like that, I don't blame her. But
I do. I blame her wholeheartedly. Cameras in every courtroom, David. Every courtroom.
I believe that. Cameras in every courtroom. Every courtroom should be broadcast every proceeding, unless for some reason it involves a child. Most of the times they do in-camera interviews for children and stuff like that too, so you wouldn't necessarily see that.
It will be shown to the jury.
I'm trying to get there, Your Honor. Despite
Yeah,
interruptions.
let's do it.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor. At the end of this case, your responsibility is more awesome. And you will have the conclusion that the state has fallen short of its burden.
So once again, every time you stand, he gets up and says the same thing.
Jesus, man.
About how they weighted up his trial. That's not open statement.
It is the burden of proof, Your Honor, that the jury has in this case. If the state's apprehensive about the burden of proof that they've accepted,
There's a time and place to talk about burden of proof. It's not open statement.
Let me stop. If there are no further statements about what the evidence is going to show, then we can move on to the next portion of the trial. So you've heard that statement that you've made a few times now, so I would ask you if there's nothing else about the evidence.
there is, Your Honor.
Okay.
We trusted you then. And we trust
There's so many coming up.
that at the conclusion of
Crumblies, January. Check it out. I got a playlist.
this trial, when you look at the evidence, you will come to a just verdict. And that just verdict, we trust, will be a verdict of not guilty.
That was bullshit. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That whole thing was pretty extravagant for no reason.
So an opening statement, I always say, is it's an outline of the case. What you can expect to see and what you can expect not to see. But you also need to educate and inform the jury as to what their burden of proof is. Oftentimes, the state even addresses what that is. Again, I'm not a Texas attorney. I don't know if this is something that's not allowed under Texas law. It should be allowed if it's not, or if this is kind of a rogue judge. But either way,
it is Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I believe that is a fundamental violation of the defendant's due process rights to not allow defense counsel to not argue, but simply state what the evidence doesn't show and what the burden of proof is here on the state. I mean, those are just fundamental things that every defendant has a right to. So it's not supposed to be argumentative, but to say that, think of the My Cousin Vinny. I know the opening is bad, but if you look at
that guy just said is bullshit.
Yeah. But the other one, the stutterer, he basically says what you're not going to hear is about any eyewitnesses that are going to be able to say this, 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 and this. And at the end of this, I ask that you find my client not guilty. That's not argument. But he just stood up and said that that's argument.
I'm call me brain damaged, I guess, but I'm pretty sure most defense attorneys have something similar in their opening statements.
Jeffrey, the person that's being prosecuted by the state should have the most rights and always the most rights, because the state has an awesome power to throw you away for the rest of your life or kill you. That's an awesome power. And we have a system that's set up to protect that above anything else. The victims should not come higher above the defense. The victims are not being prosecuted or persecuted or whatever by the state. So the right should always be higher for the defense. Always, always and forever. No matter who you think it is, no matter how guilty you think the person is.
That's to protect civilians from, getting the North Korean route where they just point to anti-aircraft firearm at you.
Yeah, or just decide through kangaroo court systems that, oh, this person's guilty, we're just going to lock them away. The jury is the last line of defense against a corrupt government. And that's how you keep the government in check. And you say, well, the government's not corrupt. I don't care what you think about the government. I don't care if it's a matter of fact that the government is not corrupt. It still keeps the government in check. They still have a job to do. But we have notes from the courtroom from Audra. She's been sitting in the courtroom and she has been taking copious notes. Wait, why did I close down? Oh, I closed it down. Hang on. I got to cancel this out. She's been taking copious notes. So we're going to go through notes from her day one and check it out. And this is just what has been presented in court. This is not, there's no interpretation, fluff, or anything like that. This is literally what the questioning of the witnesses has produced. Now, these are a bit hard to see, but you can also read them yourself in Discord. If you are a member of my channel, these are linked down here below. And I thank you very much, Audra, for producing these and sitting in the courtroom. And she's in there now, and she's messaging me now, letting me know what's going on. Let's see. Can't use public restrooms anywhere. Wait, what? The outskirts of Austin are better. I mean, I hear about the big cities in Texas. I've only been to Houston. No, wait. No, Dallas and Houston. Those are the two places I've been.
I'm good. I don't need
David
to,
doesn't get mad as long as you don't get the channel yeeted. I don't get mad. I don't care what you say. I have my thoughts, and you can have all your thoughts in the chat. Yeah. You can have your personal attacks on me. I don't care, Bobby.
We enjoy discussion. We enjoy counter opinions.
Yes.
Speaking for myself personally, it kind of helps shore up your opinion if you have or not an argument, that's the wrong word, but if you're having discussion, right, then somebody can help point out your flaws in your argument or vice versa.
Yeah.
That's how we get better.
I'm expecting one of those. I asked her, I said, do you draw? Can you draw for us? She didn't respond. She kind of ignored that one. Okay. So after the wonderful opening statements, the first witness is Matt Wilson. Now, this is the brother of Mo, the victim. The state asked about Mo's college skiing career and up-and-coming pro cyclist. Mo was kind and they were extremely close. Stated Mo and Strickland, Colin Strickland, the guy that's in the middle of this love triangle.
There you go.
Didn't have a romantic relationship, but a casual one. Dated when Kaitlin and Armstrong were on a breakup.
It's my understanding that basically these two would attend races together, and when they were both in their own little race circuits, right? But when the races like commingled at the same town, then they would hang out and hook up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I do not censor my chat. I don't care. I have one rule, and it's no personal attacks against anyone on my panel. But since Valhalla's streaming on his own channel, you can go ahead and attack him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought this was a goat channel.
That's me.
Damn it. Valhalla has controls.
We're both trying to pull up the same chat 5 times in a row.
I believe they were friends with benefit series.
100%. 100%.
Okay. So that's essentially it for the first witness. Just kind of establishing, it's like a proof of life witness, which is often what you want to be able to produce if somebody's dead. It gives some background information, also says this is in fact was a living, breathing person. So second witness is Kaitlin Cash. Now, the rest of her notes call her, I think, Cash, because Kaitlin is obviously the same name as the defendant.
Side note, can we stop naming people in Austin Kaitlin? There's like 5 of them so far in the first 2 days of this trial. It's absolutely insane.
I know. It's crazy. Kaitlin is the name that needs to go by the wayside for a moment, and it could come back in a couple of years. But so she resides in Austin, and Mo was staying with her at the time all this went down. So she stated that Strickland, Colin Strickland, and Mo weren't in a relationship. So this is the second time. Prosecution asked about the night that Mo died. She found Mo in the bathroom covered in blood. She called 911 and started CPR. State played Cash's 911 call. Cash cried on the stand as the audio was played. I hear it was fairly dramatic. Like she was really shooken up by it. So take that for what it is.
Well,
a second.
Wouldn't most people be?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
Then there was a lunch break. Oh, and then this is where Kaitlin walked back in. Kaitlin, the defendant, walked back in, and it looked like she was kind of hamming it up for the cameras and reporters, according to Audra. It seemed as if Kaitlin went across the street to eat, which is, I didn't know she could do that. And she also said she might sort of like check them out on day 2. I don't know if she did or not. But apparently Kaitlin, the defendant, went across the street with an entourage and hung out on a bistro and ate. So now, the afternoon, not all the people. Yeah, she said that there was less people in the afternoon that were there this morning. So the bailiff reiterates that no photos, audio recordings of any kind, because there was already been
speculation of such occurrences.
Yes. See, this is where I had a hard time reading sometimes. So apparently there's speculation that there's been posts. Now, I know there's a couple of people, reporters on Twitter, that are covering this case, and there are photos associated with their tweets. And I was like, is this
Really?
like live in the courtroom photograph? Because that's interesting. I didn't think you were allowed to do that.
Well, there's a gag order on this case, right? You're not
Yeah.
allowed to take any photos or videos or recordings.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
So she reports that there's a lot of people sitting behind the prosecutors, not very much behind the defendant. All right. So now witness number 2, Kaitlin Cash, is still on the stand. She said that Mo was cleaning her bike. She does so before she has a heavy race or heavy ride. Cleaning solution, H2O to clean, so water and cleaning solution. Expensive bike. The range was around 10 to 15 is what the bike was cost. And she's getting gallery shifted. So at the cost of the bike, the gallery shifted, which is interesting note.
It's an asinine price for a bicycle.
It kind of is. It's like, I understand professional racers. Like, my boat doesn't cost what you would race in the America's Cup, right? So I understand that there's levels of things. If you're going to do it,
cars that cost less than 15 grand.
I know. This was interesting. This stick of gum was mentioned. So there's a stick of gum with green wrapper set atop of the pantry.
Yeah.
Doesn't believe that it's her stick of gum. Not sure why it's relevant. Mo's backpack on the couch could have been Mo's gum. She didn't go through Mo's purse or backpack. So the stick of gum was apparently addressed by the prosecution. She doesn't know where it came from. It's not hers. There apparently was an objection. There seems to be a lot of objections, but we don't know the outcome of that objection. The witness was then passed to the defense. The defense stressed it was not her gum. And the gallery laughs. I don't know why the gum is relevant.
I think that's kind of why they laughed. Nobody knew why it was relevant. The defense didn't think it was relevant either, but he made a point to say, and that's not her gum, right? That'd be my guess.
That's probably what happened. Okay. All right. I get that now. So then the witness was passed back to the prosecution, where you have redirect. There was an objection of some sort. Not quite sure. See, I think these objections should be taken at the bar or at the bench, rather. And so the gallery shouldn't be able to hear these objections.
The jury certainly shouldn't.
Well, the jury, nobody should really be hearing these. Okay. And then the witness was released. Okay. So now we're on to the next witness, which is Martin Salinas. Thank you.
You are so bad with names, brother.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm horrible. He's a police officer, but he is no longer. What's interesting as we go through this. So he is no longer a police officer, but he was at the time. So he was on patrol. He had only been on patrol or like employed. Well, hang on. He had only been employed as a police officer for like 3 months prior to this, which I found was interesting. Let's see. He was going to the police academy. We could skip all this stuff.
So he was a rookie. He was only on the total from a police academy till the time this happened. It was like 11 months.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So he was in the academy for 8 months. He was on the street for 3 months. And then he gets this call at 9:58 to 10 p.m. He gets a call. Dispatch came over that they were
Assistants.
Yeah, I know. I
Okay.
just like this.
They were asked though. They were
Check
asked.
welfare, urgent call. They gave the address and they responded with lights on. CPR was in progress. Grade 2 hotspot, lights and sirens on. So basically, this is like get there
Upgrade.
now.
Upgrade to hot
Upgrade.
shot, lights and sirens.
Upgrade. Oh,
It's
that's an arrow.
Yep.
I get it now. I'm gonna be able to decipher her notes by the time we're done with this trial.
By the time it's done, we're gonna be all over this, all over her handwriting.
Yes, and everyone needs to thank Audra. She is in Discord.
Yes.
I tagged her in the channel under this case when I posted her notes. Everyone needs to thank her for these awesome notes. By the way, this is like page 6 of 25. This is just from day 1.
Just
We
from
got
day
a lot
one.
we got a lot to go through. All right. So arrived at location, found apartment B, apartment over the garage, backside.
They
Saw
the
stairs.
stairs.
Yeah. All right. So when he arrived, he saw 2 legs on the ground in doorway. That's a D. In doorway. Mrs. Cash. So Cash asked for help in giving CPR. It was a difficult scene.
Asked if she was responsive.
Yes.
Yes. Victim unconscious. Pool of blood. Victim was lying on ground. Dorsal. Maybe.
Oh, in the door sill. Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Miss Cash kneeling, attempted to give CPR to victim. It was a narrow doorway. Followed protocol, so the cop did what he was supposed to. Cash moved. He started doing CPR until EMS fire department arrived. He observed a brass shell casing next to her left foot while giving CPR. EMS arrived. Selena stepped out. Miss Cash left the bathroom, rather, half through to go to other room. When EMS arrived, he got with field training officer to know the next steps. There was 1 shell by the bathroom, 1 shell casing in the kitchen. Time of death was given. Next step was to call the homicide detectives, which I find very odd, this detective situation, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But it sounds like, so essentially they were kind of doing triage. Is this someone we're going to try to save, or is this a crime scene now? We're just going to rope this off. And I think when EMS arrived, eventually they determined that, no, this woman is dead and we're just going to rope all this off as homicide.
Yeah. There was another officer downstairs. The alley turned into a crime scene. Crime tape blocked off area. He observed Miss Cash, disbelief and shock. He asked her info, the victim's info, what happened, who she was with, etc. So he's got her down in the alley, the roommate, Miss Cash. He's got her down in the alley and he's trying to get more information from her.
Yeah.
Victim's bike was supposed to be in the living room, but was not. It was 10 to 20 feet away from the stairs.
So Cash, outside in the back down the alleyway area.
Yes, it was not in the apartment. It was outside, tossed into a grassy bamboo area. Miss Cash was transported to the main headquarters, victim services unit to talk to detectives. I'm guessing, returned to the crime scene after Cash was questioned. Bike was put into evidence. Crime scene tech assisted with bike in his SUV. East Sub.
Maybe it was the East Substation or something.
That could be. That makes perfect sense, actually. Then tech took possession of the bike.
Okay.
Was there a suspect? Yes. Cash said victim was going with someone named Colin.
ROW, like
RAW,
receipt of information or something like that is what I was thinking of for info on Colin.
There we go.
Yeah.
So basically the cop was trying to get his info. Did he look around kitchen, living room? Condition was normal, nothing disturbed, everything neat and in order. Looked for forced entry, no signs of forced entry. I'm still not entirely sure what that says. I'm pretty
This
sure
is
it
where
says
pocketbook.
that's what I've come up with. I'm not sure what it means though.
Yeah, this is where pocketbook was found. I think maybe it was the pocketbook
The
or
wallet?
the purse was, or something was in the kitchen. I think.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah,
That makes perfect
I think
sense.
that's how I'm trying to make sense of this. And if we do have any questions, Audra said she's going to do a phone call with me later, and we'll follow up on some of these.
Keep in mind, y'all, that Audra is in there taking notes in real time, right? So it's her shorthand version, and we're trying to figure out how she does shorthand on the fly for the most part.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
get better
essentially
at
what we're
this, I promise you, but bear with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
Approach with a witness to confirm body cam footage. Only important parts. States Exhibit 26 entered into evidence.
This is the body cam footage of entering the room.
Yes.
Body cam footage, states 26 evidence, shell casings behind right knee. So this is something that Audra actually points out, that the officer testifies that the shell casing was by her left foot, and then on the body cam footage, it shows that the shell casing was under the right knee. I don't know if that's anything important, but that's something that she noted. So it's like under the other leg.
Which is the opposite of what the cop said.
Yeah, he was questioned about how long she had been deceased. Said it looks rigor was close to setting in. Pool of blood on the floor. Not a lot of the gallery watched the officer give CPR. In the officer's what?
I looked away. Where are you at?
In the officer's
In Salinas' opinion, while he was arriving, CPR was that she was deceased.
Yeah, she was
So
already deceased.
he thought she was gone when he got there.
Yeah.
Travis County EMS and Austin PD arrived. EMS took over medical. It is up to EMS to continue CPR. Was going to call doctor to see where to go from here, get a time of death.
Yep. Body cam shows the alley. Cash gives Mo's name to Salinas. Mo's age 26. Cash has no idea what happened. Cash left at 5:30 p.m., 10 minutes before she called 911. Oh, and returns 10 minutes before she called. No, is that 10 minutes?
Yeah.
To 10 minutes before she calls 911. Okay. Mo from Vermont, then San Francisco. So he has called
deceased boyfriend.
So Colin. Now the defense.
No signs of observed forced entry, disturbance, no obvious signs. October 20th was Salinas' last day. January 2021, he graduated academy, was police officer, probationary for 20 months, only was on force 2 to 3 months, currently unemployed, not looking to be a police officer in Austin.
So I feel like that could be a good attack of his credibility. Like he was an officer for essentially 20 months.
Or maybe he just didn't realize what he was getting into, and this scene messed him up. And he doesn't want anything to do with the trauma and the terrifying aspect of the job.
Okay, that could be.
That's interesting that we have very different initial first takes on that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us are seeing it, right? We have no body language.
I'm thinking of it as the defense counsel, right? If I'm seeing one of the first state's witnesses, or as he's only been on the force for 20 minutes, I'm like, ooh, I could poke away at that. I'm like, you're a shitty cop. You know,
or maybe this scene was so agonizing and so traumatic that he couldn't deal with this type of lifestyle.
Maybe.
Also, he was on the force for less than 2 years. Go away, bro.
Next witness is Christopher Lester. Austin County Travis EMS. And it says 18 years associate's degree. Now, I don't know. I can't imagine he's 18 years old, but maybe he's been EMS for 18 years. I think that's what that is.
He might be 18 with an associate's degree. I'm sure he's 18 with an associate's degree.
3 years. He worked for 3 years before Travis County.
His county EMS. But what at 18 years old.
He can't be 18 with 3 years of experience.
Maybe you're right.
Oh my God, maybe I should take the freaking banner down. All right.
I would think that if you were on EMS for 18 years, you would have gotten more than an associate's. Maybe that's just me. I took it to mean he was 18 years old.
I did too at first, and I was looking at that a little more. So there we go. Notes from day one. Now we got the banner right. Okay. Anyways, regardless, he was called in a report, or he was called to the scene. He arrived at 10:09 p.m.
Oh, I
He
think
observed-
you are right. If he's the district commander for 8 years, yeah, that makes more sense.
I was gonna say, right? I'm like,
You're
I feel
right.
like, yeah.
Damn it. Dang it.
He couldn't. So when he arrived, he said he couldn't access the apartment. So he readjusted, walked in with fire department, which I'm not sure exactly what was going on there. Saw officer doing compressions. Fire department trying to determine,
If whether or not to continue.
yeah, essentially to continue. Okay, yeah. Observed blood on floor 2 times victim's head. I don't know what that means. And brown vomit. Depends on how long it had been since someone ate. So they talked about brown vomit, which is interesting. I wonder if that's going to come back later. Will that be linked to the defendant, or is that the victims? Anyways, or it could be medical professionals or Cat or somebody, or Cash rather. Cops provided victim's name.
He repositioned her head to see what they were dealing with. Skull,
thank you.
cranium, crevice, jaw.
Bone on bone. Something
Cartilage.
Oh, cartilage.
Broken
Left
cartilage.
side earlobe, gunshot, penetration, victim not viable, became crime scene. So he basically did an assessment. He identified the gunshots and that she was not going to survive. So it became a crime scene. Lester continues. He called medical, I guess, at 10:10. Communication, all right, something department for time of death and got victim's name, etc. Witness passed. Okay, so basically he was the one that communicated with medical, maybe the medical examiner or something, and got the time of death.
Yeah. So the defense starts questioning him. How many people were present? 4 fire department, 2 police department. Lester was present in apartment for about 4 minutes. People came and go, possibly. Size of bathroom was small. 1 person in the bathroom. 2
person. Yeah, 2 people are
2
in the bathroom. 2 in the bathroom. 3 outside the door.
Yes.
1 fire department and 1 police officer were in the bathroom, and 3 were outside the door. Officer on knees. Was anyone wearing gloves? Now, I asked Audra about this, whether or not anyone was wearing gloves, and there was no definitive answer given. So that was her response. And then it was passed. There was no further questions. Okay. So state calls Nathan Taylor, another police officer. He's been with Austin PD for 8 years, patrolled that night, Metro Park.
Now he's a corporal on the night shift. He got promoted. A welfare/urgent call came in at 9:55 p.m. Taylor went to the door, but not inside. Other officers were already inside. He stepped back to secure the scene. Prosecutor approaches, I guess.
Yep.
Hey. Hi, Ella Cole. Welcome.
Thank you very much for the £1.99 super chat. Coming in blind here. Okay, so this is
ideal, I think.
All right, so here we go. So the woman on the left is dead. The woman on the right is the defendant, and the lover in between them is Colin.
So from left to right, it's Mo, Colin, Kaitlin.
Yep, Mo, Colin, and Kaitlin. So Kaitlin is being charged with the murder of Mo. And so what we were doing is we just watched the opening statements from both the state and what the defense was allowed to present. And we actually have a courtroom reporter. We have Audra in the courtroom who's taking notes. And we are going through her notes from day one. And we're going through them as she read them, or as she wrote them, rather. So the specific information, or the statements that were actually being made at the time in real time. She's writing all this down, and so we're just reading through it without the fluff, without the sensationalism, without any uneducated journalist interpreting it. Essentially,
Or
is what we're trying to do.
speculation for that
Yeah,
matter.
or speculation. Yeah, we're just trying to literally read what this is, and if we don't know what her shorthand might be, we might speculate a little, but it's with informed information. You guys step out for a sec.
Yes, I will be
Okay.
right back.
You guys have me to deal with now for reading this. Okay, so the prosecution approached. Clip of the body worn camera. Talking about burning it onto a CD. Taylor parked on the 18th Street and walked up the alley, told someone to stay outside. So he ended up staying at the door on the porch. There was a bag at the bottom of the stairs. It was a something bag so people could safely. Oh, he moved the bag. I'm sorry. He moved the bag so that people could safely move on the stairs. There was right along, with another officer on the porch. Okay, so there's two officers on the porch. This officer moved a bag at the bottom of the stairs. Body cam footage continued. The alley between 17th and 18th Street. I don't know what present something. Anyways, so that was basically it. And then they passed this officer. Now, on the defense asked Corporal Taylor, you responded to the scene and you used crime scene tape to restrict people from contaminating and preserve the scene as you found it. And specifically, scene integrity was the statement used. And Audra said the defendant made a point to say the integrity part. So scene integrity is what they were emphasizing on. So they asked about the amount of crime scenes that Taylor had witnessed. He said hundreds. Scenes that had potential for homicide scenes, hundreds of them essentially. Now, with regard to the bag at the bottom of the stairs, he was asked apparently whether or not there was any suspect at the scene, and the suspect left the scene via stairway. That was the ingress route. Taylor moved the bag on the stairs. Let's see. And so there was an accusation of tampering with evidence. So you moved the bag and you were essentially tampering with evidence. That was the only ingress egress from the unit. Defense really getting the sense as or seen as pristine as possible. So apparently that seemed to be the focus of the defense with the cross-examination. You want the scene to be as pristine and maintained as much as possible, and you moving the bag potentially disrupted the scene and tampered with evidence. On redirect, the prosecution asked about moving the bag, and the officer said that he moved the bag for safety reasons. The only reason he moved it was based on how soon he arrived. And then the witness was passed. So at 3:15, everyone was excused for a break. No one heard the judge excuse the jury. That's weird. I don't know what that means. But anyways, at 3:35, so they got a 20-minute break, the jury was back. Are you guys enjoying this so far? Let's see here. Did I miss anything in the chat? So it's only me. My ADD, what? Hyper focus. We'll take it from here. Thank you. This is an interesting case. All right. So this is where we are. All right. So now we have Adam Sector, who is the next witness. He works as a police officer. Let's see. She was 1 degree lead investigators. He rides along. Wait. Officer Dixon was his. Oh, sergeant. Okay. Was his sergeant. Okay. Anyways, at 3:56 p.m., dispatch to the address. Not the first to respond. It was a small apartment. right kitchen bath, saw female lying on ground, removed Cash, so this is the victim's friend that she was staying with, from the general area to outside. So he listened. Officer Dixon was 1%. I don't know what the 1% is. That's the second time it's been here. Cash was visibly upset, wide-eyed, extended hands wide open, bloody hands. Cash informed of deceased name, why victim was in Austin, text messages throughout the day. Mo was with ex-boyfriend Strickland, Colin, at the beach. He passed info to other officers at the scene. Let's see. Kaysen
Cash
informed
informed them that the door was open.
Cash.
Mo's bike was missing. This officer found the bike 100 to 150 feet from the bottom of the stairs.
Well, sorry. There we go.
Padilla took pictures of the bloody hands. State's evidence 35, picture of Cash's full body. Prosecution, close up of head.
Well, that would not be fun to see.
No.
What was in the
Cash
bag?
What's in the bag? Cash is in a state of shock. Video of the body cam, redacted, the shorter version. Saw the black object, black bag, kicked it off the bottom of the stairs because Officer Dixon had to step over object, unknown what was in the bag. Basically pointing out that the officers were manipulating the scene. Yep. Cash was on the phone with 911, visibly upset on the couch. Officer Dixon and Officer Padilla took Cash outside. Cash said Mo and Colin Strickland went swimming. Cash was in shock and trying to remember events of the day. Cash had left at around 5:30 p.m. This officer is 25 years old. Colin is 25 years old. My bad. Colin lives in South Austin and is a cyclist.
Now the witness is passed. So now we have defense.
So Padilla's important details, reviewed supplement before testifying. So he reviewed the body cam
report.
Yeah. Before he testified today, he worked on the scene. If Wilson was involved,
I guess. Yeah, I
which
don't know.
I'm guessing was the sergeant, right? Wilson.
No. In family disturbance.
And defense wants to know why.
Padilla needs all the details.
Padilla.
Sorry. Okay. This is interesting. So, is this another police officer that may or may not have slapped around his wife after a night at the swingers club? What's the family disturbance?
It could be.
I don't know. Apparently, they were vague about it. All right.
So they passed the witness to the prosecution.
No. We're still up here. Padilla has.
He has
called on family, not homicide detector.
I think they're saying that he was involved more in. He's never had a murder case, I think is what they're saying. I think they're saying the worst he's had to deal with so far has been like family calls, family violence.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So he's never dealt with a murder case. All right. That makes sense. All right. So then they passed the witness. Then on redirect. On redirect. This is where we are. Redirect.
So the prosecution, robbery, burglary, family violence due to violent nature of victim. Worked in major crimes unit. I think it's just kind of giving a brief of what he's done as a police officer.
So then pass witness. Ignorant about motive. And then there was a defense. Inquire about motive. And then there was an objection from the defense. Didn't hear him. Prosecution asked about motive. No signs, forced entry. Could be so close to victim.
Significant other. There was no signs of forced entry, which led him to believe that the victim or the attacker was someone close to the victim, significant other.
And then say past witness again. Prosecution.
Personal vendetta. Objection leading. Perp was known to victim.
Yeah, that seems maybe cause for speculation or something like that. But they probably got it in over the objection because a lot of times the police officers can say, "Oh, well, in my experience and training, when there's no forced entry, and 90% of the time it's someone they know anyways." Okay. All right. Officer Lopez. This is now the next witness. He's been an officer for 28 years. He went to the police academy, certified police officer. I don't know, whatever the hell that is. Works mainly in Austin Airport currently. Was patrol.
May 22.
Oh, May 22.
Of Charlie Sector. He was working overtime at the time, performing sim duties and tasks as other officers. Check welfare call came out. Victim had been shot. Body cam was worn. Records when opening the patrol car door. So the body cam turned on as soon as he opens his door. Peace Peony joined the Goat Herder membership. Thank you, Peace
Awesome.
Peony.
I'm
Appreciate
completely
you.
ignoring the chat. I apologize, chat. Normally I'm more interactive with y'all.
States exhibit number something. After redactions, top right on body cam was the date and time, not the first responding officer. Garage was open. First thing she asked them when they went inside is there a bike?
What's in the bag again? Look at the black bag that is on the side of the stairs.
Now it's on the side of the stairs. It's been moved from its original location.
Yeah, now it's on the side of the stairs. It was probably observed in the body cam. The prosecution knows the defense is going to address this, so it's staying out ahead of it.
Put crime scene tape around the secured area to secure the crime scene. No one unusual that Officer Lopez saw. Continues to look for bike. Bike was located off the road in brushes. Turns out it was kind of like a bamboo area. But they were calling it like grass and stuff, is my understanding. From
it was like tall grass and brush, overgrown bamboo.
He double checked to see if there was someone there before approaching the bike. Since there was dense bamboo, informed officer on scene. Black, white with red water bottle. Supplement description of bike described as a red bike, but was referring to the red water bottle. So there was a little bit of a confusion there.
Okay.
They passed the witness. Officer Lopez never touched the evidence or the bike. Important not to touch because the evidence, because it's evidence. Don't touch to preserve the evidence.
Yeah, preserve.
So basically, they pounded that in there.
Yeah. All right. So, again, the prosecution concerned with contaminating the crime scene. They addressed that a little bit more, and then they passed that witness again. Officer Lopez again on recross. How the bike came to be there is unknown. Passed the witness. Nothing further. We're done with that witness. Sergeant
Rolando Ramirez.
Yeah. Okay. APD.
He was on the APD for 24 years. He's a detective with the homicide for 5 years in the homicide unit. Roster for murder case.
Lead detective, second degree work crime scene.
Second time working the crime scene coverage.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Whereas day and night, works day and night, something day and night. Anyways, Wednesday night shift. Detective, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Took the call. Only detective from the whole city. Detective on duty, but responded to all but murder. Okay.
So apparently he's the only detective in the city of Austin, and he responds to all of the calls when they come in when he's on duty.
But murder. It says but murder.
With a question.
With a question mark. Okay, so that's her notes. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Sergeant Ramirez continued. Salinas, whatever that is, Salinas decided to call. Deceased had to call back within 6 to 7 minutes. Info was suspect, not typical suicide, not type suicide or typical. Gather info, detention. Wait.
So he called Salinas, or Salinas called him rather. Salinas called in a dead body, basically, deceased call. He had to call back within 6 to 7 minutes, the detective did. But the info he was getting was suspicious, right? This isn't the typical suicide. he had to gather info to determine the suspicious supervisor on call.
Okay. So then he showed up, arrived at scene, meets with Kaitlin Cash, collection of evidence. Witness went to look at scene, parked southeast of location, because camera crew. Really, a camera crew was there?
I was curious about this.
One block away from MLK, used to be 19th Street. Arrived on scene. Many PD and crime scene pack up. Anyways, blood on street. Followed stain to block around area. Turned out to be paint. Red paint.
There was red paint on the ground. They thought it might be blood. They were looking into it. Turns out it was just paint. Made
entry after they were told CS secured.
Crime scene
secured. Yeah. All right. Noted
the apartment was clean, organized, not a lot of clutter. There was no signs of a struggle. There was a small cabinet with a snack cabinet was open with candy, a candy bar on the ground. Inspected the door for damage to door and to the lock. There was no markings to think any forced entry that day. Didn't see anything out of place. Price showed up where body was at, where victim phone was at, plugged in. When you're done, you have to grade the paper. I'm not a teacher. The projectile. So he's going over where everything was at in the layout of the apartment, basically.
Yeah.
Didn't see anything out of place. Price showed him where the body was at and where the victim's phone was, that it was still plugged in. They found the shell casings. Before it's not the crime scene, it's a bag of stairs outside.
Yep.
They moved the body. When they moved the body, the projectile in the chest area defect on the victim's body to where projectile is. So they kind of figured out where the shots took place and where she got hit, I think, is what's happening there.
First turn lead detective helped something
Spiller, I think is the guy's name. Spiller.
Oh, evidence makes sense. Victim's bike found in alley not far from where the victim was. Bike did not make sense to be in the overgrown bushes, bamboo. Looks like it was thrown into. Looked for security cameras, ring cameras. Start with target location. Located camera 200 at these addresses on back of the house. Went back 6 a.m. to 6:20 a.m. to talk with homeowner about the camera if they heard anything suspicious.
FYI, police officers, if you're ever going to come to my house and ask to look at a camera, don't do it at 6 a.m. Just don't.
I had a phone call at my office once. Apparently there was a fight at the apartment complex across the street. They wanted to know if I had any security camera that I could provide for them.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, no. Ask homeowners if camera catched anything. Motion sensors type cameras. Time frame. Witnesses left for dinner.
The witnesses weren't home at the time, basically.
Yeah, at time the body was found. 8:37 p.m. Dark SUV passing through alley. That's the video that we have seen that I played in the previous video. Alleyway was actual driveway for the homes on 18th Street. Runs east to west, except Maple, and west to south, north to south. I don't know.
Exits on Maple.
Oh, exits on Maple. Okay. Sergeant
Ramirez indicates on map where the house with the camera is in relation to where the victim was at. The video showed the SUV within time frame. He was looking for it. Team mentality for gear is what I came up with for that.
Team mentality. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I think what so I don't really know, I guess. The team that's investigating, I think they came up with the reason to focus on this vehicle and how to focus on this vehicle. There's markings on the SUV. They focused on the rims,
bike rack,
the attachments, etc.
Yeah,
which is the bike rack on the back of the Jeep.
Also, the person in the vehicle, they concluded, could have seen what happened. suspicious activity. So either this person is a witness or this person is a suspect. But either way, we want to talk to this person in this vehicle.
States 32 and 33 evidence approved and published. Still image of video he reviewed at the residence, and then the video. Time of the day 8:37 p.m.
And I think that's the one that we've seen in the media that I played. Sergeant Ramirez, SUV identification, wheels, something in the back, a bike rack. The time it was suspicious, SUV had a bike rack. Sergeant viewed video many times. Brake lights was also out, working or
looking for a black SUV with silver rims and a bike rack.
Yes. 12 detectives with a lot of knowledge about many different things. So it's attention effort.
A team effort.
A team effort. Okay. Police and sergeants spoke about different scenarios, likely scenarios after seeing evidence seen. Determined that suspect had known more.
Was known more intentional.
That the suspect was known. Oh, like the suspect knew the victim and that this
Correct.
was intentional. Okay.
Correct.
All right. 2 degrees.
Second injury, more determined type, emotional, etc. Intent. You can tell what's going on.
So this little thing is an ND. So that's why I'm going to.
Is that what that means?
I don't know because I read it as degree, but
I think it's just 2 ND or 1 ST. I think it's just
I'm gonna
whatever. I think it's just the whatever those letters are supposed to be for first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So type, emotional, etc. Unintended. You can tell what's going on.
Gag order in place. So this is Sergeant Ramirez's theory that we just kind of briefed, by the way.
Yeah.
That there's the second injury that took place was a more determined type of emotional attack.
Yeah. And that's the end. That's the end
day
of day
one.
one. That's day one, guys. So okay, let's pull up day 2.
Which I didn't get these until this morning, and I slept in way too late, so I have yet to see these. Really,
I didn't get them until late. Okay, so I'll pull up everything I have. Again, these documents, if you want to take probably a better look and a closer look at it, are in my Discord, so you guys can read through them. Now, I will say that this is obviously not her typed notes. This is just kind of a summary that I was given ahead of time. Not much happened today. It had to be a tad easier. The number of pages with witness initials. This morning, they brought the bike as well as we find out what's in the bag.
What's in the bag?
It was actually a bag that covers and protects the bike. Okay, so it's a big bag that covers it, and it was probably just balled up on the
like a weather protector kind of deal.
Yeah. So she lists the morning witnesses and the afternoon witnesses and sent them all to me.
2 more Kates. This is ridiculous, y'all.
2 more what?
Kates. Katie Ferreira, and then
yeah.
Kaitlin
I know there's
Longoria. There's so many.
There's not many chatting, but we're also that you guys are here. Let's see here. I have prompted. Let's see. I have a primitive seating chart of the jury. Oh yeah, we're not going to go over that. Okay. So yesterday, wait, hang on. Yesterday, apologies, my notes were shit. No. Your notes were great. Okay. Oh, this is way too close.
Zoomed in too far.
This up.
There you go.
Day 2, bike day. Because she says that. Okay, so crime scene specialist, Austin Science Department. So this is
Kaitlin Longoria and Katie Ferreira are both crime scene specialists with the Austin Science Department.
Right. Question about the response to the scene. I haven't read this at all either because I got it late last night and I compiled it this morning to send to Valhalla. ASD, not part of APD. So apparently the Austin Science Department is not part of the police department. Okay. So witness Longoria took more than 400 photos, saw projectiles on floor of kitchen and bathroom. Are they Are they like having like these two like testify together? I don't know. Vieira possessed certain area of prints and processed certain processed certain areas for prints and DNA. They brought the bike into the courtroom, found in the grass patch, not was a large area covered in bamboo. Not in a large area. Okay, so it was a grassy area. Why were they talking about bamboo? But apparently, so this witness is clarifying that it was not bamboo forest. It was a grassy area. Wrapped in plastic. Fiera, let's see. Swabbed the bike for DNA
before packing it.
Yeah.
Asked about bike's large black bike bag, which was found on the bottom of the stairs. Wore gloves,
rather wore gloves. Thank God.
Attorneys wore gloves. Thank God.
Oh, attorneys wore gloves. Thank God, because we see that all the time with the attorneys not wearing gloves.
Yes.
Okay, and so that was basically it. Okay, so they received the bike and they processed it for prints and DNA. All right, so witness Timothy Price,
the sergeant.
Homicide detective at time of
Mo's
demise. Knocked on David Haram's door. That's Cash's neighbor and landlord. So I heard a lot about Cash's neighbor, by the way. So
I have not.
Yeah, so this is David Harns. So he lived next door and he's the landlord. Price stated Harns heard nothing. Harns didn't seem to be too concerned and gave police department consent to search yard, and then they passed the witness. The defense asked Sergeant Price if gunshots are loud because he didn't hear anything right next door, right?
Right.
Asked why Price didn't go outside or didn't go inside or outside Haram's home. Evidence didn't point to the necessity for entry within Harm's home, and they passed the witness. I heard a lot more about this from other sources. Apparently, the defendant or the police officer said, "Well, he seemed calm and cool, and so we suspected nothing." Is that what you would expect from a police officer?
I think after Jeffrey Dahmer, all police officers should learn the lesson that that's not the way to operate.
Yeah, exactly. So
also, is his name Harns or is it Harris?
Let me see here.
I think it's Harris.
Harris. Yep.
Yes,
Harris.
I win.
All right, so now we're past the witness back. It's redirect by the prosecution. Wanted to discuss the video of black SUV Jeep leaving the scene. Prosecution pointed out that the black Jeep belonged to Armstrong was
instrumental to the case.
Past witness. The defense discussed Jeep, asked Sergeant Price if he was aware of
confirmation bias.
Price detective
defined it as
tendency for someone to take info and form into something
that person already believes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Asked if Price canvassed the area for any other black SUVs. Black SUVs matter. Price did not. Price states that investigators on scene properly and thoroughly searched for and handled all evidence. Price noted that the medical examiner said Mo's body had 3 GSWs.
Gunshot wounds.
2 in head, 1 in chest.
Continued search warrant, probable cause. This one's a little grainy. Upon arrival, something aware of an evidence to enter. Oh, Harris's house. Oh, so he's saying that he didn't have probable cause or a warrant to enter Harris's house. Not fully aware of what was
aware of any evidence to enter Harris's house. Harris not fully aware of what was occurring. None of residents came out to offer any evidence.
Okay, so that's what's happening. Yeah, and also the son, Harris's son, apparently was also in the home at the time and wasn't questioned. So that's what the defense is bringing up as well.
That's interesting.
Moni, hey, welcome. Do you need to rewind and watch from the beginning? Well, you can watch from now, or you can go back. We watched the opening statements, and we are going through Audra's notes from the courtroom. She's in the courtroom every day, so this is day 2 that we're going over. So this is yesterday. She's in there today.
We just did day 1, and we're moving on to day 2.
And what I'm probably going to end up doing is cutting this down. David Harem, yes, that's my harem. Welcome, Making Law Sober. But yes, we are. I'm probably going to cut this down and do clips. Like I'll do our opening statement remarks, and then I'll do day 1 notes, day 2 notes. So this will probably be 3 uploaded videos when we're done. David Harris, civil engineer. So this is the next witness. More activity in the in the courtroom than yesterday, with people in and out. Okay. So interesting. So there's apparently more activity, people in the courtroom going in and out on day 2 than day 1.
Apparently, day 2 was overall much busier and more chaotic, I guess, with people in the gallery in general, the bailiffs, people coming in and out of the courtroom. There's a lot more noise and chatter and stuff going on.
Sounds like it. So David Harris, the landlord, Cash's landlord, and the next door neighbor.
Well, their apartment was above the garage, right? So this is attached to this man's house, or maybe not attached, but it might be a detached garage, but still, like it's closer than a neighbor would be.
Yeah. So Kaitlin, he's asked if he knows Kaitlin Cash. He says yes. He rents the garage apartment. He's Caitlin's. I'm going to say Cash's landlord. At 9:50 p.m. became aware with ambulance at residence, medical emergencies, could hear and see police department in backyard, knock on bed, knock after bed. Second police officer, second PD, cooperative with the police department, noticed officers next door, plainclothes officers speak with neighbor, doesn't know something.
Why?
Oh, doesn't know why. What is going on in the courtroom? Lots of bailiff movement. Oh yeah, what you were just saying. Okay, interesting. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Harris continued. Conduct 3D printing in. He conducts 3D printing in house. Went for walk. Opened garage door. Let's see, under the apartment. Heard someone rushing out and downstairs of what sounded like a bike rushing off. Oh, okay.
Like
so
a
he
motorcycle.
Well, that would be consistent with Colin, because I thought he was driving around a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Was going for a walk, but likes to take a long.
I think that says bong hit, actually.
Take
before
bong
exercise.
hit before exercise.
I think that's what that says.
I'm gonna have to clarify that with Audra if that's what that says. The details. Did police try to timestamp? Yes. Okay. Continue to be specific in time frame.
Couldn't
concepts.
Be specific with time frame.
Concepts.
Concepts.
Oh, couldn't be. Yeah.
Shit. Got
back.
Dark. From the walk. No definite time frame. Told officer he wasn't sure he actually heard the bike go by because he didn't see it. Had the impression it was a bike. Still open for anyone to search the house. Defense, did he blank Mariah blank?
Miranda? Did he Mirandize him?
Answer no, but didn't quite hear the question.
Okay.
Can hear people from a garage apartment, but sounds like Muppets. Lol. She really was trying to diss him for the bong. It is bong hit. She really was trying to diss him for the bong hit.
Okay. All right. It was a bong hit. Okay. Very good. And it sounds like Muppets. So he can hear people talking in the apartment above, but he didn't hear 2 gunshot wounds and screaming.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Martha
Okay.
Beloa.
Martha Beloa.
Something like
Beloa.
that. Since 2017, has lived in the house in the neighborhood, middle of the block. 4 Ring cameras. Good Lord. Motion sensor, 50 to 75% sensitivity. 2 in the back, faces back alley. 2 in the front, faces the street, 18th Street. Can access from Maple or B-Town?
Oh, bottom of 18th.
Bottom, there you go. And 17th Street.
17th Street.
Parking in alley. Setup cam sets up time in app. The Ring app on phone and computer, and can see the videos. Can control sensitivity settings. Cameras were properly working because aware when police came the day after on SID PD
Knocked about 6:30 a.m. Doesn't recall the name of the officer that
incident after the day after the incident. He knocked about 6:30.
Doesn't recall name of the officer that retrieved the footage. Yeah, or requested the footage. Let's see. She was there when officers watched footage. Officer showed her on the video the black SUV. Garage apartment is pretty far to her house. Okay, across the street, pretty close. Wait, what? Pretty far to her house.
Apartment is
that doesn't make sense. Garage apartment is pretty far to her house, across street, pretty close. Street is wide street. Oh, prosecutors say. Okay. Approach witness 1010 101 states witness 101 or states exhibit 101. She certified that was a video footage that she gave the officers.
States exhibit 4 aerial map of the neighborhood. 2 back cameras point towards alley.
Yeah. Okay. So states exhibit 101, color video, time stamped at 8:26 p.m. Time is generated automatically by the Ring. Shows Jeep pulling up to garage. Exhibit 31 shows back SUV at night driving by her other back camera. Time is 20:37, so 8:37 on 5/11/2022. Dark out. She parks in back. Exhibit 31 shows her car parked. She was at home with partner. Oh, she was awake, unsure about partner, did not hear a gun around 10 p.m. She saw the police department lights. 2 days later, another officer came to her house. Same thing. She provided the Ring footage to the detective. So she didn't hear it either. She didn't hear gunshots at all. Defense. Strange opening. Says he wasn't going to
holler at her.
I'm
guessing the prosecutor was getting a little
I could see that happening.
Yeah, I'm not going to yell at you, ma'am. It's okay. It's okay. Wants an explanation of why so many cameras. 4 was officer. My bad. Hold on. 4 was officer point Jeep out to her.
Officer pointed the Jeep out to her. I think that's maybe a continuation. Wants to know why there's so many cameras. There was 4. Was officer pointing the Jeep out to her as opposed to her identifying the Jeep? I think is what
that's
fair.
In the alley, steep hill going from Maple, tight turn because how alley is laid out. North-south alley is narrow. Has never seen defendant before in person. Steep hill in the alley. States exhibit 36, picture of the alley. Camera can't access the stairs. I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay. So now we're on states witness Michael
Donovan or Donovan?
Donovan. I thought it was Donovan.
It's either Donlin or Donovan.
Donovan. But Donovan. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at the colon, and I was thinking not colon, the
parentheses.
All right. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Resident in plaintiff's PA. Resides in Pittsburgh, PA. Lived in Austin at time of incident on Maple Avenue for about 1 year before incident. Looks at next door at the time following 5/11/2022 and saw a post photo about the incident. Let's see. Something doorbell contains records for 1 month. So it's, I don't know if this is a security doorbell, contains the records for 1 month. And then it writes over the previous video. Don't have timestamp and the time sent a video to, or yeah, don't have timestamp
At the time.
Sent the video to officers on time of the officer was
Requesting MD, medical.
Was just requesting. MD went to make sure it was the correct time to give police officer, but didn't watch the whole thing.
Michael Donovan. MD.
Oh, Michael Donovan. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Make sure that it was the correct time to give the police officer, but didn't watch the whole thing. Saw what time he got home, and software sets time and later digital something at the later time. Digital recon something. Let's see. I don't know what this is. Verification, much more detected detail verified through. Okay, so essentially they don't know what time it was, but it was on that date. He said he went back to that date and he got it, but they don't know exactly what time. A black SUV with a bike rack is seen. So essentially that's what that is. Full video doorbell is played. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. Back porch at 9 p.m. Porch doorbell. So they introduced us to a ton of videos here at this time.
Infrared.
To verify accuracy of the system. Okay, so there's a bunch of videos, and it looks like there was some. Oh, this is another exhibit here. Exhibit 113 is to verify the accuracy of the system. Okay. So exhibit 106 shows the black SUV driving very slowly. At 8:26, SUV is again moving slowly. At 9:15 p.m., here's screams and gunshot wounds. So this is what I got.
And gunshots, not gunshot wounds. Gunshots.
Yeah. Thank you. Jeez. It was scream, gunshot, then silence, then a third gunshot. Yeah. And apparently you can hear a pin drop in the courtroom during this as well.
The parents of Mo had to leave before that audio was played.
Yeah.
They got up and left.
Merce, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Dave, what does a bong hit mean? You know, I'm not quite sure. I don't know what a bong is. It could be, as Farrell likes, it could be licking certain anatomy of the rear end of an individual. That's what I'm going to go with.
Giggity.
Look at that. You got a super chat to get my questions. No, sorry. I'm not paying attention to the chat today. I'm trying to read. I can let Valhalla read the rest of it, and then I'll just focus on you guys.
Where are we at?
Exhibit 111, we don't know what it is. Exhibit 4, map to determine where house is. Exhibit 110, verifying date and time of system. And then the witness is passed. Okay, so this is defense cross-examination of the neighbor with all these Ring cameras and wasn't able to identify the exact time.
So she saw a post on the Nextdoor app and reached out to police department about the incident. Footage 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Did not see Jeep pass by in person. Almost deleted. No, oop. Oh,
almost
black.
Oops.
Yeah, that might be oops. Black Jeep around Austin. Yes. Other questions about Jeep, etc. Do cars drive by house fast? Residential neighborhood. He doesn't recall. Partner took dog for a walk. before 9:15 p.m., gets back after something. She said she didn't see or hear anything. Rob Draymond, ADA, and took partner separately to ask questions. Did see lights outside.
Did see lights outside, yeah.
Partner acted
acted
normal
normal.
when came back from the walking the dog. Sounded like officer was suggesting his partner was involved. Hasn't heard any gunshots at the house.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. So the police will be like, if they're doing their job right, could be you. It could be the landlord. It could be the next door neighbor who's fascinated with her or whatever. It could be all these random people, and so you kind of want to do that. That's good police work. And now the defense though is taking advantage of that and be like, oh, it could be this person, that person, that person, that person. Definitely isn't my client.
Sort of like pointing fingers, like the Zachariah Anderson case wasn't allowed to do.
Right. Witness Andrew Bronca.
Andrew Bong or Wong from 18th Street. State wanted confab sidebar.
Oh, to have a sidebar before
conference.
any...
I don't know. Before any questions, has lived there a little over 2 years, east of I-35. Has surveillance video, closed circuit system around the house. Footage goes to hard drive server in his closet.
He's got an old school system.
I don't know what that is. CHOS, CHOS system.
CHOS system when buying home building. Oh, he chose the system
when buying home or building. Rolls for 2 weeks. Continuous 24/7 recording. Uses mobile app on phone. Save onto flash drive for preservation. Has timestamp. Can be altered automatically via the app and calibration as well. Officer saw security cameras and came and knocked on the door at 10:30 p.m. And later detective AW, later detective something.
This is Audra, by the way, nailing maps to the wall since 1969. This is Audra, our Audra from chat. She is in Austin, and she is sitting in the courtroom taking all of these copious notes. So don't be dogging her, man.
Yeah,
in real time.
Audra is the goat. Audra
she
is
literally,
goat.
She's just literally sending her notes from real time every day. So that's what this is.
The detective. The detective dropped off new USB drive for him to load video onto it within that window of time. So the officer came, gave him a thumb drive, said, hey, download the 2 hours that I need. State's Exhibit 4 was a map of the area. AW lives a block or so away. One camera catches intersections. AW's the
They identified you in that last note, their maps.
Fact. Fact. You got pointed out, bro.
Wasn't home at time of incident. Approached witness. Believes large blocks of time. Last 3 clips.
6 files. Large
or 6 files. Large blocks of time. Last 3 clips. Okay. State's Exhibit 114. Chestnut Street shows in left side of house.
Intersection.
Yeah, I guess, and left side of house. Chestnut and 18th Street. Has night vision. Mine does too, by the way, Valhalla, if you get that system I sent you.
Nice.
Includes just usual, a visual, no audio. Okay. So Exhibit 115 with infrared. 890 or
black and white infrared.
Oh, black and white infrared. Okay. 8:59:58 p.m. View on Chestnut and 18th Street. Black. Is that
double check the timestamp?
Or about? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Dark color SUV crossing. Turn to other part of the neighborhood. Show some type of rack on back of the vehicle. Rack on back.
Indigo just became a member of you.
Indigo, thank you. Welcome to Goat Herder. I like that. I don't care if anybody else does. I like it. The Goat Herd level. I like that. State's Exhibit 119, infrared time step at past the witness.
All right, so the defense
Which way did she go to get out of there?
Which
Defense. Why do you have security cameras? Why,
I think
why
that's a
is that-
stupid
That is
question.
a stupid fucking question, bro.
Pointed
That
out
is
the
a-
timestamps that were incorrect. Yeah, but no, I mean, everyone has security cameras now
Well, they're all going to be
because
off a little
Amazon
bit,
told me to purchase one. Why
right?
else?
Only a few business days till they discovered, not months, like the defense was saying.
Pointed out the timestamps that were incorrect. Only a few days till they discovered the video, not months, like the defense was saying. Oh, so they were probably arguing that they didn't receive this information for months later. Okay, well, hang on.
I was curious
No,
about that because
did
day one
not.
they were saying this thing took place at like 5:30, 5:50, and now all the timestamps on the cameras are all coming back at like 8:37.
All right. So the last question was that the witness had never seen Armstrong in person, and then they rested, and the jury was out. That was the end of the day. So that was day 2. I know Audra at the beginning said I don't think that there was a lot of terribly interesting things that happened on day 2, but I feel like there was. That was very interesting to me.
The fact that nobody heard 3 gunshots, it boggles my mind.
Yeah, right. I mean, the cameras recorded it. Cameras from like blocks away recorded it, but the neighbor upstairs didn't hear it, and he says he can hear people talking like Muppets.
Seems very sus.
Yes. Let's see. In court, this is garbage. Yes, I don't see her describing the cuties in court. This is garbage. Oh yeah, Salvador. Yeah, Salvador needs to definitely teach her about how to take notes. You gotta describe how cute the person sitting next to you is, whether or not the defendant makes eye contact with you, and how long it lingers. We're missing those details.
Oh, Sal.
Did you see his notes? I read aloud.
I saw some of them. Yes.
Yeah. It was
Oh, Sal. Did you ever go back and get her phone number, Sal? Did you?
There's no indication of that. The officers that we had testified said nothing about that. I think there was a statement about one of the projectiles was tangled up in her hair. So if that is in fact the case, I would have to imagine there would be other particles tangled up in her hair, but we haven't heard from the medical examiner. So maybe.
I would imagine there would have been more on the scene. There would have been parts of pillow on the floor or something.
Also, let's not forget that the security camera from blocks away heard the gunshots, picked up the gunshots. So we have the sound of them, but none of the neighbors heard. The next door neighbor living right below or next to whatever didn't hear it. That's interesting.
That is
not that it didn't happen. Obviously, she was shot, right? We're not necessarily going to dispute that, but
we don't know what caliber it was yet either, do we?
Well, they talked about an opening statement, but there's been no evidence presented. So look at that. Luna with a gifted membership that went to Freak McDingdong. Ding dong?
What?
Freak Madingdong got a free. You know what? You have the best name to be a member. Freak Madingdong just became a new member thanks to Indigo. That's a double win. I got a gift, and then that person was gifted it. So that's amazing. Did they not talk about 9mm opening statements? They did talk about a 9mm in opening statements, but what I mean is there's been no evidence presented. Opening statement is not evidence. So, anyways, all right, very interesting. I am loving this real-time stuff. I'm going to try to keep up on it more so we don't have to do 2 days in a row. What I would love to be able to do is at the end of the day today, be able to stream again and bring us up to day 3 and then do it every day. So day 4 will be on day 4 of trial. Day 5 will be on day 5 of trial. So that's what I'm hoping to do because then we can stay relevant.
I'm so down. I'm so down.
Yes. And please tell your friends about this show. But that's all I have to add because I don't know anything else other than what this is. Although I don't think the defense is really going to work. The defense of it could have been anyone other than my client is really going to work. And why would you push so hard? Oh, okay. So if they're going to claim that the defendant's DNA is found on the vehicle or fingerprint or not vehicle on the bicycle, then you could make an argument that by moving around the bag that covers you were disturbing evidence that could possibly exonerate her, because presumably she would have had to have uncovered the bicycle if she was going to take it.
I almost wonder if she was caught in the middle of getting her bicycle out to go for a ride, to go for a training session or something.
Maybe she was going to steal her bike to screw with her race she had the next day.
That could be.
And then she was confronted. Maybe she thought she was out.
That could be.
Maybe she thought she was still out and she was going to steal the bike.
Why did she bring a gun though?
Well, why would you take the bike after you murdered somebody? It was literally outside and stuffed in the woods or, in bushes or whatever the hell it was. It was only 100 feet away. And you have a vehicle. It's not like you're getting away on the bicycle. You're driving away in a vehicle.
Well,
and there's a bike rack.
Right.
I bet you she was going to steal the bike.
That
and then Mo, she just happened to be home.
Caught her in the act.
I wonder if that's what actually happened. Yeah. This case already sounds super interesting, mostly because the state's lawyer freaked out during the opening statements of defense. Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing.
I wish they had cameras in this one. This is going to be fireworks from start to finish, y'all.
Yeah. So anyways, that is our day 1, day 2 recap or notes or update or whatever on the Kaitlin Armstrong trial. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will, we're going to get with Audra to try to get some questions answered on a couple of these notes we have, just to make sure.
Hey, buddy.
What she's actually trying to say. And yeah, so that's about it.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens here. This case has got a bunch of interesting facts that just scream this girl's going to prison for the rest of her life. But we shall see. We shall see how it goes.
Just if the prosecution is so angry over so many things, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's a personal beef or if it's his normal MO or if they're really scared of the case, but it doesn't look good. I mean, just me as a defense attorney observing it. I'm not a layperson. I'm not someone that would typically be sitting on a jury. So I might not be perceiving it the same way, but I'm glad you enjoyed, Paige. And yes, and follow Valhalla. His link is pinned at the top of the chat.
Likewise, MLS is pinned at the top of my chat. Also, I did start a poll that I should probably end. Who's more stressed?
Is it now pinned? I still don't see it pinned.
Well, let me close the poll and then it'll be there for you.
It's not.
There, now it is. Now it is. I just closed the poll. Now it's pinned at the top. It's been pinned at the top the whole time.
I see it. I see it. It wasn't there when you first said it was, sir.
Yes, it was. But the poll was up. The poll was, who's more stressed, the prosecutor's jacket or Kaitlin Armstrong? Prosecutor's jacket won 86%.
When I voted, it was 100%.
Oh, that's awesome.
These notes are amazing. Thank you.
Oh, no, it's just a thank you order. Okay.
Yeah. No, she's been texting me. She's still in court. She's like, oh my God, what's going on with this? So no, it's awesome. I'm hoping to get those fairly soon. I have time tonight. I'm going to go, Valhalla, if you're available and you don't have any other commitments, maybe we can do this later tonight and get us up to speed on day 3. Day 3 recap.
We have to do it early because I have to be somewhere at like 9 a.m. tomorrow.
I'll get it. Well, so it's Central Time and Audra's in court taking notes. I think they go to 5. So that puts us to 6 at the latest. And that's assuming she can immediately send them out.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be close to like 8, 7, something like that.
Let's go for like 8:30.
Okay.
That work? 8:39?
Yeah, that works. That's
all right.
Good.
Cool. Then we'll set that up
guys.
as soon as we get done here. And
right.
Look for us in about 7 hours, y'all.
Yeah, we'll do an update to day 3. Thanks everybody in chat for joining.
Special thank you to Audra for being a real G and getting these notes for us and sitting through what is definitely going to be a long, arduous
She is loving
case.
it. She is loving it. She's so stoked to be in there, and that's awesome. Thanks everyone again for the super chats and the member gifts. And we will see you, in about 7 hours. We'll do day 3. We'll get all caught up here.
Hell yeah.
Have a good one.
Later, y'all. Much love.
I forgot to set up a redirect, so you guys are all on your own now.